Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. What's up, guys? Hear me? Just making sure that we are live both on Twitch and on YouTube. We got Noah Gamer over here. We got Lord Tellum. We got Max Swag as well. And we got Comics Legends, Chaos Machines, Moses, Bluesney, Spectrum, Six, Sonu, Rohila, and Matt Little Bear. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your kind wishes. Gonna be starting very, very soon. Anatomical, what's up, my friend? Welcome, welcome. It's been a long time since I had three monitors. I've been working with 2 monitors for a while now, but I'm seriously thinking about getting a third one now. The chats and the stream and Discord and the softwares getting a little bit crowded over here. Stefan and Mic Drop 6, thanks guys, thank you very much. Solid Mango as well, and our good friend Alan. What's up, guys? Just finished a quick setup over here, and we'll be starting a special stream very, very soon. Okay? Let me know if the music is fine. Sometimes I feel like it's a little bit too high, but let me know if it's in a good position there. I think it should be on a good position. Harshavardhan, Tar, Manish Art, Liz Lumery, what's up? Hello, welcome. Lord Tellum says, I'm also thinking about getting a third monitor. I constantly feel like I'm running out of space. Yeah, it's I mean, it only happens to me when I'm streaming, to be honest. Like normally when I'm working, 2 monitors is more than enough. But yeah, it feels like maybe like a small monitor for like the chats and the stream stuff. That could work. Oh, no, Sebem Melembro. So the other birthday stream that you're talking about, that was not a birthday stream. That was an anniversary stream, and that was the anniversary of the channel. So that's in June 23. I think it's our channel anniversary when we started back in 2023. But this is my birthday, August 30. So it was yesterday. This is the after party that we're gonna be having today. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We got Jakarta. We got Sonu, Rohila, Rubik's, Babisulu, Aaron 2022 40. There you go. His left says, happy birthday, Abe. Thank you for everything I've learned from you. You're a wonderful teacher and a shining light in the maze that is the 3D graphics. Thank you, my friend. Alright, we're gonna have fun today. Yeah, I definitely feel a little bit older. Now we cannot deny it. The thumb. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. I turned 33 yesterday. 33 years old. Did I have a party? I wouldn't call it a party. It was just a get-together with my family. We got some cake, small dinner. I went to have lunch with my wife, with my kid. I actually got to spend like quite a good amount of time yesterday playing games. Just that was one of my birthday wishes. I just wanted to relax and play games. I don't get to play as many games as I would like to, so yesterday I was just playing for a little while. Perry Jane says, finally my first live. Hope you have a great day. Yesterday I did, my friend. I did. Thank you very much. Today we're gonna have the party. Hey, we're gonna have some fun, my friend. Do I feel my age, though? That's a good question. No, I don't feel... I mean, I'm not sure if I'm the only one. Probably not, of course. But I feel like back in the day when we were kids, right? Like when most of us were little, 6 years old, 7 years old, 10 years old. We saw people who were over 30 and we're like, oh, those guys are like, they're adults. They have everything figured out and they're like very mature and everything. It's like, nah, not really. We're still figuring shit out. We're still very immature in certain senses. But yeah, there's definitely a different level of responsibility that we have at this time, right? So, but yeah, no, I mean, I definitely feel older. It's just not like super old. Just prepare the concept that we're going to be working with. Flipcakes, what's up, my friend? Welcome, welcome. What's my age? I just turned 33, Pratamish. I just turned 33. I was born in 1992. You believe that? I was actually born on a Sunday, by the way. That's a really nice coincidence for today. So I was born on a Sunday. Second guy. Trying to remove a couple of things that I want to remove from the concept art that I'm gonna be using. So I found this concept art on TikTok actually, and it's like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this character. You guys are gonna like it as well. Let's see. We're about to start. Yeah, we got 2 more minutes. Okay, what are we going to do today? So, as I was mentioning, I found this concept on TikTok, and I'm gonna tell you the little story that it had with it. And it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. It feels like it fits today's motive, and we're gonna be working on this. So it's gonna be sculpting, and let's see how far we can push it. Because it's not super complex, but it might require, you know, a little bit of work. So it's gonna be fun. Had some text on the image, and I want to see if I can remove it here inside of Photoshop real quick. Let's see. But didn't you do one last year either? Because I actually ran across you. Yeah. I've been doing like birthday streams. So there probably was one last year. Like the first year on 2023, we were working on a dwarf. Then last year, I don't remember what we did last year specifically. But yeah, we've been doing birthday live streams for a while. There we go. Yeah. Happy birthday from Michael. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Let's see. Did I miss any questions here? We're about to start. I'm just waiting for David. Let's summon David. Let's see if David is here because we're going to need his help for the giveaways. We're going to have some cool giveaways today. So let me send David a ping. He should be here. Let's see. There we go. No barbecue this time, and I'm gonna explain why. The problem is, I think I've mentioned this in some of the past live streams. We're doing some small renovations here in the house, and it's a mess. It's a mess right now. Like the whole patio is filled with like material and concrete and freaking like bricks and everything. So it will be very uncomfortable to have our barbecue like session there. But don't worry. That doesn't mean that we're not gonna have fun today. I think I missed a question here. Let's see. Are you gonna teach your son to be an artist? She's a girl, but I'm not sure. Like, she likes painting, she likes drawing. She's going to like art classes, you know, for kids because she enjoys it. I don't think I'm gonna be like pressuring her to be an artist if she doesn't want to, but I'm definitely gonna be including art throughout her life, right? So if she eventually decides to be an artist, hey, that's fine. I'll support her, of course, but I'm not like it's not something that I definitely want her to do. There we go. David's on the house now. What's up, David? Thank you very much, my friend. Let's see. Do you have any advice about moving out? This is a question by Barisoki. What do you mean moving out, my friend? Moving out from your home, from house, or like going to live on your own or something like that? You make a marble designer course on Skillshare, or am I confusing? You know, I did, but I did it with Next2 several years ago. That one's a little bit older now. I have a newer one on my site, but yeah, you might have remember my boys from that 6th. Back then, we didn't use the camera, so... Ready for the party, there you go. Aaron says, hey, how to convince our parents? Like, I'm working on a portfolio for 3 to 4 months and they think I'm wasting time. Are you still studying? Like, are you still at uni? Or are you doing this after you graduated? Well, what's the situation, Aaron? I might need more information to help you out. And while we wait for that information... Hello. What's up, my friends? Welcome to this special stream right here on our channel. First of all, I want to give you guys a huge shout out and thank you from the bottom of my heart. Yesterday on the Discord, I woke up and I saw like hundreds of messages wishing me happy birthday. Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you very much for that. It really made my day, and it's thanks to you that we have this amazing community, and that we have this amazing project, and that we can continue working on this project and just like making awesome stuff. So thank you, my friends. Thank you for everyone who's here as well. I know it's Sunday. Some of you might be a little bit late over there when you live. Some of you might be very early. So thank you for being here. And today we're gonna have some fun. So let's jump to it. Drinking my little strawberry milkshake here. So yeah, there we go. We got Mika Meow. We got Starling, David Dolce Mascolo, Sebastian. There we go. Thank you, Darren Ored, for the sub. So yesterday, or not yesterday, but a couple of weeks ago, I was browsing TikTok, and there was this very cool question that was asked. There was this nice fantasy music going, and it was like a slideshow of pictures, and it said, a great wizard appears in front of you, right? And he allows you to pick a magical thing that he has with him. What is it that you're going to pick? And the first option was a pair of flying boots, you know, these winged boots that you could use to fly and move very fast, move everywhere, travel everywhere at incredible speed. The second option was a life orb, an orb that could sort of like protect you and absorb any damage that you got and help you in your battles, right? Of course, a magical sword that would cut through anything pretty much, and it would make you a fearless warrior. And last but not least, there was the last magical item you could pick, and that was none other than Ignacio, a singing frog. So I just saw this concept art and I was like, okay, this is so cool. Imagine a bard, you know, in a fantasy setting, like in D&D or like in Baldur's Gate or whatever, and you have this as a companion. Like, it's just like Ignacio is just, it's fucking awesome. Like, if you're not picking Ignacio, there's something wrong with your fantasy vibes, because this is the best thing that you could pick from that guy. So yeah, today we're gonna be sculpting Ignacio, the singing frog. Yeah, it's so awesome, right? It's such a cool concept. I'm not sure if this is AI or not, because there's no signature, to be honest. So I'm gonna go on a leg and probably say that this is not AI. Like, it feels very realistic. I couldn't find the artist. If anyone can do like a Google reverse search or something while we start sculpting this guy and find who the artist is, that would be great. And we'll be, of course, crediting him or her. But yeah, it's so cool. It has so much character to it. It's relatively simple, right? From a technical perspective, there's really not a lot of stuff going on, but it's so fun. So yeah, today we're gonna be doing Ignacio. I was thinking about that, Henry. Like, I'm not huge into the modding scene, but if we make this character like really good, it will be very fun if we can find a modder that could get him into like a Baldur's Gate version or whatever. Like, I'm not sure if it's possible. I'm pretty sure there has to be a way, right, to introduce some like models or rigs or animations. But yeah, we're gonna be working on Ignacio here. This was the text that the character had when I was like exploring what's the word, TikTok. Singing frog, Ignacio. And yeah, today we're going to be working on that. So get to it. Oh. Hell. Let's see. But that's the typical splash art charm. Doesn't seem AI. Yeah, it doesn't seem Vyacheslav Safronov. Vyacheslav Safronov. Seems like we got the artist. Seems like we got the artist. That's awesome. Let's see. Let me just quickly check if it's in an art station. Yeah, it seems to have an art station. No, but it looks very painterly, so that's why I'm really inclined to think that this is not. Yes, this is real. Awesome. Oh, this is so cool. So this art is by our good friend Vyacheslav Safronov from St. Petersburg, Russia. He's got some awesome stuff here on his art station. Definitely gonna follow him. It's got some really, really nice stuff. And there we go. Here we have the Bard. He did this 8 years ago. This is a great thing about like the internet, right? That you can do something and it's gonna be a while until it sort of like maybe picks up. I saw that the post on Instagram was or had like several thousand likes and things. So yeah, thank you, Sven. Thank you. We have the link protection here on the chat, so we cannot have links, but I was able to find it real quick here. So let's just bring the actual concept art. There we go. There's so much more detail as well. Look at all of the detail there on the skin. So good. So yeah, this is Vyacheslav Safronov, and he's got a lot more stuff as well. So if you guys want to pick a concept for your next project, this could be a good place to be. This definitely feels very painterly, right? Like very artistic. It's not as clear as what we might see in some production concepts that we might use for characters, but there's some like some really, really cool stuff. So thank you, Vyacheslav, because we're gonna be using your work for inspiration today. Let's see. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Solid Mango is like, oh, should I hand paint this or should I do like traditional workflows? I haven't done a traditional workflow in a while, so I'm probably gonna be doing traditional workflow eventually for this one. But maybe we could do like 2 versions eventually. We could have like a hand painted version, and we could have a more traditional version. Okay. So as you guys know, when I'm working with a new character, usually not always, I like to start with C-spheres. C-spheres are just like a lot easier to work. And this is a big question. Let's let the chat decide. What do you guys, how would you guys approach this if you were doing it? Would you do a V pose or T pose, or would you do it in pose? What do you guys think is the best option? Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry, I'm getting my allergies. A pose, T pose, T pose, T pose, big T pose. Yeah, that's right. So usually the decision that we need to make whenever we're like starting a character is, what do we want to do with the character, right? So if we're gonna be, this thing is getting really long. One thing that we gotta decide is this thing gonna be done for production, right? Like, do we want to animate it? Do we want to rig it? Do we want to like use it for other like purposes? Or do we just want to do like a cool 3D print, for instance, right? Like maybe we want to do like a statue, then doing it in post makes sense. But in this one right here, since I do want to eventually maybe do the full production pipeline with the character, T-pose is gonna be a little bit better. So let me show you a cool thing that we can do here. Let's open Creator real quick. Let's see. Big T-pose. Yeah, if it's just a statue, like sculpt is fine. Now, someone was asking about the giveaways, and as you guys know, it's thanks to you guys that we can do this, that I am sort of like allowed and encouraged to have this amazing live streams with you. So I want to give back to the community, and today we're gonna have multiple giveaways. And the giveaways, as you know, is a free course of your choice. We have over 10 courses in our main page. We got Blender courses, Marvelous courses, Topogon courses, 3D Code courses, Maya courses, ZBrush courses. So we're gonna be giving away the courses. David is gonna be preparing the giveaway. For those of you that are new to the channel, or if this is the first time that you're seeing one of these giveaways, let me explain very quickly how this works. you are going to go to our Discord channel. You're going to join it in case you haven't joined it. We're going to link it in just a second. And here on the notice board, there's going to be this events channel. And there's going to be a little thing right here. You can't see it right now, but when David sets it up, there's going to be like a little party popper thingy. You just click on that. And by clicking on that, you're going to enter into the... what's the word? You're going to enter into the giveaway, and we're going to be deciding. After the live stream, I'm going to be contacting you, and I'm going to be asking you to enroll into the website so that we have your account, and I'm going to like manually include you into the course of your choice. And you can pick any course. You can pick the newest course, which is the hand-painted course that we did with the undead captain, with the undead pirate. You can pick the anatomy course, the oni course, like any course that you want. If you win it, you're going to be able to pick it, okay? So there we go. Let's see. There we go. The little thing is up. So it's this guy right here. One premium course from Leal 3D. So it's this red thing right here. Just go into the Discord, go into the events tab, into the notice board, and if you click on that thing right there, you're going to be entering for this first giveaway. Okay, guys? Now, when we're dealing with this kind of characters, one of the things that I want to do is I want to do a quick breakdown of all of the things that we need. This is normally something that I work with my students in the mentorships and in the classes, which is just find where your main masses are, right? So, for instance, that's going to be my main mass for the hips, will be right there. Then we're going to have a cylinder right here, another sphere right there, another little mass right over here, and then the legs. Same stuff over here, so we're gonna have that. That's kind of like doing like a mannequin reconstruction of the frog like character. We're gonna have a big sphere here for the torso. You can see that we have a very nice triangular shape. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky because both arms are flexed, right? So I know that the shoulder is gonna be right there. I know that the elbow is going to be right around there, and the hand is going to be right around there. So if we try to, again, try like conceptualize how long or how far down the hands can go, they're probably going to be going all the way to the knees, right? And finally, we're of course going to have the head with the eyes. So if we take out this thing right here, we should be able to see a very basic reconstruction of the character, right? And that should give us an idea of how big or small we can make it, okay? So let's go here to this one right here. So over here on this element, I'm going to start with the hips. Usually I like to start with the hips. So I'm going to go to the top, make sure that symmetry is turned on. I'm going to create a new C-sphere right here. That's going to be my abdomen, which is probably going to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to use E to scale this up. There we go. And then we're going to add one more sphere here for the torso. And this one's going to be a big one right here. I'm going to add a little bit of gesture. Gesture is the curvature that we normally expect to see in characters. And usually, for instance, in a human character, right, we're going to have the head, we're going to have the neck, we're going to have the rib cage, we're going to have the abdomen, and then we're going to have the pelvis. So hopefully you guys can see that there's like an S-curve shape right here. Things are not like completely straight. That's a very common mistake that people do when they're like working on characters. They make them completely straight. We always need to work with this sort of like S-curve shape. And when one thing is going backwards, the next thing is going to be going forward. There's a little bit of a balance that's happening around the body. So what we're going to do here then is we're going to add a couple of like more spheres. I'm going to add the spheres for the hips right around here. There we go. And then from those hips, we're going to create the legs going down. We're going to create the knees right there. Make this a little bit thinner for the ankle. Make this a little bit bigger. So I'm going to add a sphere right there to make the big shape right there. And I'm going to push it forward again because the legs, they usually also have a little bit of a gesture to them. So they're not completely straight. They're always going to have a little bit of, movement to them. Now, as you can see, these legs right now, compared to the concept, definitely feel a little bit long, I think. So I'm going to go to E to scale. I'm going to scale using this one right here to make them a little bit smaller. And that way we get that sort of like whimsical look to the whole thing. We're going to add another little bits of sphere right there for the shoulders. 2 more spheres. That's going to be my arms. They're going to be long arms. So probably right around there. Got very tiny hands. So let's add one more right there. Push this forward. There we go. Then we're gonna add one sphere right there for the neck. One more sphere for the head. The head is bigger, so we're definitely gonna make the head a big head. This is already looking quite fun. So let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go. And we're just gonna add 2 eyes for now as a placeholder. These are not the final eyes. Actually, yeah, let's add the eyes. So this is just a placeholder for the eyes. Now, how many fingers does he have? He has 3 fingers. So let's add a little bit of a hand right here. Push it in. 1 more right there. It's gonna be the here that we're gonna be using for the thumb. Gonna add the thumb right here. I don't always do hands with C-spheres. If you've seen my courses, sometimes I use like insert multi-meshes or things like that for hands. But in this case, since it's just 2 fingers, it's a lot easier. So I'm just gonna like I always make my draw size very small so that I'm only picking the sphere that I need. Go. Let's add a little one right there to make the finger smaller. And I really like this is a question I guess I get asked often, like why do you like using C-spheres so much? And the reason why I prefer C-spheres is because, first of all, they remind me a lot of the traditional armature approach that we would do in traditional sculpture. I did a bit of traditional sculpture when I was in school and even afterwards. And it keeps your proportions in check, right? Like proportions are one of those things that can be really, really tricky to get right at first. So if you spend a little bit of time building like a nice armature, then it becomes like way easier in the end, I would say. Like you can avoid so many issues with like proportions and like just the general shapes of your characters if you spend even just a little bit of time working on a nice like on a nice rig like this or a nice armature. There we go. I like that. I like this proportion right here. Feels quite nice. Let's see. If I win, I choose Substance Painter from Beginner to Master by Gamer. That's one of our best sellers. Like our 3 top like courses right now are the Oni course, which is the ZBrush one, the Substance Painter from Beginner to Master, and the new one, the Undead Captain, the 3D code one, the hand painted one. Those have been like really good projects. Sprinting Snail Studios says, you have taught me so much with your videos. I'm so glad I found your channel. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So there we go. We got the basic construction. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the final like proportions. There might be certain like proportion changes that we're going to be fixing later on. But in general, I think this gives us a nice approximation to what we're expecting here with our good friend Ignacio, the singing frog. So we're going to go now to adaptive skin. We're going to make this an adaptive skin, and that converts this pretty much into a Dynamesh version of the armature. Very common mistake. It's very sad. I'm gonna show you. This is very sad because a lot of my students make this mistake when I'm teaching them ZBrush. I show them that when you're working with C-spheres, you can press the letter A to see a preview, right, of the element. And a lot of people think like, oh, cool, I got a preview and I got like actual polygons, so that means that I can start sculpting. So let me just start adding all of the information, and I'm just gonna start adding like all of the elements that I need for my characters. Like, no, this is just a preview. If I press the letter A again, it's gonna give me this warning. And a lot of people just say like, oh yeah, just like, no, this card changes, and all of your changes are gone. Like all of the things that we sculpted are gone. So a lot of people make the mistake of staying here within the C-sphere like armature preview mode, and then they don't convert this into a skin. It's very important that we convert it into a skin so that it like works the way we were expecting it to work. Okay, so now that we have this, let's start with the face. Definitely we need to create a little bit more volume here. So I'm just going to start working on primary forms right now. What are primary forms? Can someone tell me what are, like, we talked about this on Friday. What are the main primary forms that we have in the 3D world? It's 3 of them. The first one, circle, or well, rather sphere. Okay? So a sphere, a cylinder, and a cube. Okay? Those are the 3 main shapes that we have in the 3D world. And this is very interesting because whenever, whenever you have a 2D shape, like a circle, if you take a 2D shape and then you extrude the 2D shape, right? Like you extrude a circle, you get a cylinder. If you have a circle as a 2D shape and then you revolve the thing, right? Like you rotate it around, you get the sphere. If you have a cube, right? And you extrude the cube, you get a nice little like cube. Or rather, if you have a square and you extrude the square, you get that. If you have a triangle and you extrude the triangle, you get that. If you have a triangle and you rotate the triangle, you get a cone. So all of the 3D shapes that we have in the real world, they actually are coming from a 2D shape, like an action that we do to the 2D shape. But anyway, so if we take a look at the character right here, I can immediately see that we have this sort of like very sharp look with the face. Like if we do a little bit of a deconstruction of the face right here, and we find like the main points, you're gonna see that from a side view, this is gonna be roughly like this, very flat square sort of like head on the top, and then we're gonna have the the eye right around there in the middle of the character. So that's what we need to focus on, just a very basic deconstruction of the first shape right here. And I always start with my move brush first to give me the general volume of where I would expect things to be. For instance, here I feel like the eyes are definitely not where they're supposed to be, so I'm just gonna delete them for now. And I like to keep this stage very, very planar. Like I don't like to, what's the word, to add too much detail or wrinkles or volume or anything. I like to keep this very, very planar. I can also see that the head is quite big towards the sides of the character. So we're gonna have something like that. There we go. In Retopo, should I triangulate quads that are a little wonky? My superstar think tank says triangles and poles almost never cause problems in game assets, even if they were good. Yeah, triangles and poles are perfectly fine. I'm actually working with some of my mentees at think tank as well, and we're going through the retopology process right now, and yeah, triangles are perfectly fine. Let's just name in standard here, just to find where the mouth will be. So the mouth will be like right around there, and that means that if the mouth is right there, the eye is going to be like right around here. Let's start carving in the area where I would expect the eye to be. Yeah, that feels about right. Maybe a little bit closer, so we can see a little bit from the front view. There we go. And now that we have the little like space right there, we can definitely append a new sphere. Append this new sphere. Make it smaller. Smaller. Not super small though. It's to be a little bit bigger than the hole, and I'm gonna explain why in just a second. Probably right around there. Let's do a quick mirror. Well, there we go. And then I'm going to go back to my main element, and I'm going to use the new sphere that we created there to roll around pretty much, right, to cover the eye. So that we actually get that nice effect, because usually when seen from the side view, this like upper eyelid is going to be seen quite a bit, right? So we need to incorporate a little bit of that eyelid right there. And this is just a very basic blocking, guys. Like we haven't even started sculpting yet. This is just my basic creation. Aaron says, hey, is it okay to add thickness to a cloth that is going to be simulated? Maybe a scarf? Oh, that's a great question. I'm not sure, to be honest. Normally in games, I will tell you no, because simulating something that's thick it's very, very expensive and you get a lot of overlap. But if you're going to be doing this for like cinematics or something like that, then maybe. Now, one thing that I've done a little bit of research about is that they usually use proxy meshes to do the simulation first, and then they transfer the animation and the movement to a mesh that might be thick. So maybe for the simulation, you're going to be using a smaller mesh or a sort of like a simpler mesh, and then for the actual like final shot, you're going to transfer the information to a big mesh. Ephlidius, thank you, my friend. Thank you, Abinash, Bluesney, Dumb. Thank you, everyone. How long do these streams last? Usually 2 or 3 hours. Let's see how long we can make this one. It's usually 2 or 3 hours. Some of you guys are in Europe, and it's already a little bit late over there. Some of you are even further east, like in India or Malaysia. Do we have anyone from Japan today? Sometimes we get some Japanese viewers as well. And I know you guys are like 10 or 13 hours ahead or something. Sweden, there we go. Sven in Sweden. 9 p.m. in India. There you go. Let's add a little bit there. There we go. Now, one thing that I can see right now is that the frog is wearing a lot of cloth, right? So that means that we're probably gonna be able to split this into multiple into multiple sections, right? Like we don't need to have everything in a single section. But usually when I'm working on this like initial stage, I do want to use it for a blocking for like a purpose, right? So for instance, here on the hands, one of the things that we can see is we have this very like big puffy sleeves. So even though or rather, since we don't need to see the anatomy of the character, we can use this base mesh that we have right now to just start creating all of that volume for my character. So I can imagine that this skin is going to be the main element. He's wearing some leather bracers. So I'm going to try to preserve the volume that we have near the hand. And I'm just going to start inflating this thing a little bit more. Making sure that I'm constantly rotating the camera so that we can see this in the nicest way possible. And I don't see it on the concept, but I've seen more references, and usually there's a secondary sort of like belt or something on the like above the elbow. So we're probably gonna be adding that right there, and that means that there's usually gonna be another bit of a little puff right here on the sleeves, right? That makes sense. Does that make sense to you guys? Have a little bit of like, I know bards and gestures like tend to have this sort of like approach to them. This is something that we could potentially do inside of Marble Designer if we want to be like super precise, but it's simple enough that I think we can get away with doing it here inside of ZBrush. There you go. That's already giving us the silhouette that we're expecting to see on the character. And then on the neck, I've seen people have those like tall collars. I'm gonna go a little bit tall right there. It's definitely he's wearing a vest. You can see here that he's got like a leather vest. So I'm guessing this color is gonna be sort of like connected to that leather vest. I definitely think that this one is a little bit thicker or wider on the shoulders. So this is where we start adjusting those kind of like proportions. And this is why working with a low subdivision or relatively little polygons is really important, because this allows us to really control all of these elements. So he's gonna have this nice little vest. Let's push this in like that. Thank you, my friend. So the way to enter the giveaway, guys, in case you missed this, you need to join the Discord channel, and then you need to go here to the side, to the notice board, and there's this events tab, and you just click on that little party popper thing right there. And if you click there, you're gonna be entering the sweepstakes. I think that's the name for it. You're gonna get a chance to win this. Now, this character definitely has a little bit more, not jaw. Heavier there. Have to start working on this thing right here. Sono says, what a coincidence, today's my birthday also. Happy birthday, Sono Rahila. Happy birthday as well, my friend. Let's see. Hey, Ave, love your tutorials. Is Blender good for sculpting if you can't get ZBrush, or should I consider 3D code? Yeah, Blender is really good for sculpting as well. It's not as powerful as ZBrush yet. They actually did a really nice like big update on this last update for ZBrush. Where was it? Blender 4.6, I think. So it's really good. Like, it's really good. If you can't get ZBrush, Blender is an excellent option. 3D code is also really good, but 3D code is even more than that. Like 3D code is like the complete package. Actually, it's a little bit similar to Blender in that sense. So you have a lot of options there. Let's open the mouth real quick. It's a question I get asked often. So normally or ideally, when you're working with characters, you do want to open the mouth, even if it's just slightly. So I'm just gonna use a mask here. I'm just gonna open the mouth like that. And the only thing I need to do is just Dynamesh and start pushing this in. And we're gonna work on this. There's a common question, is like, how far should the mouth go when you're doing like an open mouth? It really depends on the production. Some people model all the way down to like the throat. Like if there's gonna be a shot where the character's gonna be like screaming or something, and you're gonna be able to see like really far into the throat, then you definitely want to model all the way down to like the throat. But it's very simple modeling. Like, you don't need to make it like super complex. Go. Let's add a little bit of volume here on the groin area to really get that nice triangular shape. He's wearing like a leotard or something, right? Now, interestingly enough, the legs for this character, he's wearing tights, right? And we're gonna be able to see quite a bit of muscle with those because they tend to be quite like form-fitting. So here's where your knowledge of anatomy really comes into play, right? So we know that the knee is gonna be right around there. And the first muscle that I always include or sculpt when I'm doing legs is the quad muscle. The quad muscle is going to start right here on the inferior anterior iliac spine, and it's going to go forward, kind of like a teardrop shape. It's going to go forward and create quite a bit of volume on this area. The quadricep muscle, as the name implies, it's made out of 4 main muscle masses: vastus lateralis on the side, vastus medialis on the inside, and then the rectus femoris right here. There's another one that's behind those 3, but we usually don't see it. And all of them are going to combine their tendon, and they're going to be going towards the knee. On the knee, something really interesting happens. On the outside of the knee, we're going to get a very sort of like hard line. It's going to look very sort of like straight. And on the inside of the knee, we're going to get a bundle of tendons and connective tissue that's going to make it look very round. So the inside of the knee is going to look round, and the outside is going to look very, a little bit sharper. Now, as you can see on the concept, this character is like heavily stylized. So we're going to like really make this thing a little bit more intense right there. Really sort of like push things. On this side of the muscles, we have, of course, the butt. So we need to create a nice little butt here for our frog character. Do you recommend upgrading to the newest version of Blender? I'm always a bit wary of it because I'm scared of my change settings I'm used to. No, it doesn't change things too much. And yeah, usually when you're working, especially as a freelancer or like indie stuff, like small studios, it's cool to be able to switch to the newest versions because there's going to be like interesting new additions to the whole thing. The places where they don't change very often is in like big studios. And the reason why they don't do that is because they were working on the project for a long time and they cannot risk things breaking, right? So for instance, if you're making a video game and you decide I'm going to be using Unreal Engine 5.3 and then Unreal Engine 5.4 comes out, you're not going to change just because the new one came out, because there's a lot of things that can break at that point. And unless you have a dedicated team that's going to be pretty much reviewing every single piece of code, mainly code, right? But other things can break as well. It's not worth it. So you just stay with the engine version that you initially picked, and that's it. You roll with that. Now, underneath the knee, we're gonna have a little bit of like a triangular shape. That's the tibia. And now look at that. That's a strong leg right there. So we really need to push the silhouette here on the leg. So I'm just gonna start removing some of the volume here. All of this we cover on the anatomy course, by the way, guys. So if you win today's giveaway and you want to learn a little bit more about anatomy, that could be a really good pick for you, my friends. All of these things right here. Awesome. But is there a difference between a tablet with a screen and a screenless one? Yes and no. I worked with a screenless tablet for a while, like a normal, like a tablet, for like almost 10 years. For like 8 or 9 years I did that. And then the past 6 or 7 years I've been working with pen displays. They do feel very nice, like you feel really pro, right, working with a pen display. But I wouldn't say, especially immediately, like right after getting them, I wouldn't say like they made me better or anything. No, it's the same thing. But they're quite convenient. Like for instance, if you don't have a second monitor and you're gonna be using the tablet as a second monitor as well, they can be quite nice too. There. Go. And usually in this phase, I like to use trim dynamic quite a bit. You guys have probably seen that in several of the projects that I've done, because I like to keep things very angular at first, and then as I keep refining and refining, I'll smooth things out and make them look a little bit nicer. For instance, here the feet, they need to be really big, right? So I'm gonna show you a cool brush. Some of you guys might not know this one. So if I try to use the move brush and I try to make this a little bit bigger, the top part and the bottom part, and they might not like match perfectly. This is where you use the Move Infinite Depth brush. And what this one will do is it will make sure that whatever is on top and on the bottom, it's moving at the exact same sort of like a distance. So it's a great way to make sure that it's happening on both sides of this like shape, for instance. And yeah, it's just a really good brush. Move Infinite Depth, it's called. In the Zero for iPad version, it's one of like the default, or one of the default brushes right there. Go. Now, of course, we just move this. Bobby Sulu says, I've had both. For me, a drawing pad works better than a display. Yeah, that's also another thing. Like, some people prefer the ergonomics of the traditional tablet. Some people prefer the actual screen to be able to see what you're doing directly. So it really depends. Again, I've used both. One of them is not going to make you like a better artist just because it's different. Oh, what the hell happened here? Rebuild that thing right there. Any tips for symmetry issues, please? I tried all things I can do. Also watch your symmetry issue shorts video, but didn't work on my Maya model. Maya is very simple, man. Maya just place the element in the center of the grid and then do a mirror. There shouldn't be that shouldn't be that much that complicated. Jebby3D says, I'm so hyped to be here. Hey man, welcome. I'm not sure if I've seen you before. Yeah, but I mean probably, because otherwise we would have gone like a first time chat, right? But yeah, happy you're here as well. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Hi, thanks for everything you do. I'd like to become a prop artist later, and I was wondering, is it better to go for stylized or realistic? What are studios looking for more? That's a great question. I would say it's pretty divided. Like, there's going to be a little bit of everything, right? But when you're learning, I do recommend learning realistic first and then stylized. Why? Because you need to learn the rules, and then you learn how to sort of like break them or exaggerate it or make them more like intense, which is what we normally would do with stylized stuff. So yeah, my advice tends to be to start with realistic and then jump into stylized. Okay, I think we can push the chest out a little bit more. Even the hips. Again, to help with the overall gesture of the character. But I'm liking it. I think we're in a good position. Okay. So let's see. What's the next step with this one? So a couple of details that are going to be important. Like, he's got a little bit of a beard, a little like nostrils right there. He's got some like tendrils on the face too. These things, right? We'll add those later. Of course, we're missing the hat. The hat's going to be an important one. But I think we're in a good position here. 4 minutes! 4 minutes for the first giveaway, my friends. Make sure to jump straight into Discord if you haven't voted, or not voted, like submitted your name there, so that you get a chance to win one of our free courses. Yeah, Huyon is good. Like, we've been working with them for a while now. They've sponsored or sent me a bunch of tablets. Like, I've tried the Canvas 13, Canvas 16, Canvas 2022, and this is the last one that I've tried, which is the Canvas 19 Pro. Before that, I had another Canvas 16, so I've used 5 different Huyon Canvas tablets throughout the years, and they've all been like really nice. Really nice. Thank you. I've never tried XP Pen. I've never tried them. Maybe they'll reach out and send us some product to review as well. I had a Wacom back in the day, but not recently. So I don't know much about the recent stuff. You feel face is more pointy on the concept or on mine, Mango? Yeah, on the concept, right? Yeah, I agree. I think this should be a little bit more pointy. That's also gonna help with the gesture. Some people like to add color to, for instance, their eyes. It's a good thing. Like we can do it. So eyes are fun. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for like this, so like orangey material. I'm just gonna say color, or rather, we have a new menu for colors over here. So I'm just gonna go poly paint, fill color. Then we're gonna go back to normal color. Grab black. Let me grab my standard brush. Change this to red or to black. Thank you for the sub, my friend. This is Jakarta Cardiana. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for the follow to Sevisail, Gondosculpts, Ryan Models. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So we can start painting a little bit of the eye there. And the advice that I do give is make sure you add a little bit of shadow, because it's gonna make the whole thing look a little bit more realistic. Gonna sort of like shade it more like an actual eye, right? And you can either paint in the reflection, like you can paint it in, or ideally, what we can do here is we can go with the toy plastic, which is a very common one. There we go. We're just gonna say M, and just say color, fill object. Now we go back to our material, and as you can see, the eye is going to be glossy, right? And now, of course, we need to do a mirror and wealth, so we have it on both sides. And that kind of details, it can really sort of like help you like figure out if you're going in the right direction. Now, the tricky thing here is, can we rotate this? It's nice. So I'm going to rotate the face so that it's, or the whole like picture here, that's a little bit more in line with our character. That way we're going to be able to figure out the proper like positions and everything. So for instance, now I think like this like way too far forward, and this needs to be a little bit rounder there. Not too much though. Sonu says, hey Ave, can you birthday wish me again? My full name is Nishai Rohila. It's a great feeling to hear it from you. Of course. Happy birthday to our good friend here, Nishai Rohila. I hope you have a great day. I hope your wishes become true. Hopefully you enjoy the day with your loved ones, with your family, with your friends. And hopefully you become an amazing, amazing 3D artist as you keep learning and growing. So there you go, my friend. Okay, let's start. Like at this point, I think it's a good moment to sort of like cut the face from the rest of the body. It's gonna give us a little bit more control. So we're just gonna go here to the face, and I'm gonna go to subtool, split, and we're gonna do a split hidden. And we have the winner. Yes, we have the winner. The winner for the first giveaway is our good friend. Oh, wait a second. There we go. Pablo Rast. Pablo Rast, my friend, congratulations. You are the first winner of the giveaway. So I'm going to be messaging you after the live stream, my friend, Pablo. And you can tell me which course you would like me to enroll you into, okay? So congratulations, Pablo. Congratulations. And you guys can go now again to the Discord. Same process. Follow the same a path right there. And click on the little party popper thing so that you can participate on the next one, on the next giveaway. So if you didn't win this first one, don't worry. We're going to have a couple more. Go. I think I'm going to have to push the eyes out a little bit more. And that, of course, means that we're going to have to push the eye socket. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Very important. We need to play around with these forms right here to make sure that they like properly roll around the eye. And then we get the actual eye shape. Jevi says, hey, thanks for being a huge to us all, sir. Thank you, my friend. No, thank you, my friend, for the support. Huge inspiration. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. You are the inspiration that I need, my friend. Like every day when I wake up and I see all of the comments and all of the messages on Discord, that's always a huge boost to continue doing this, to continue working on making sure that we can all learn about the 3D world. We can all make amazing things. Because here's the thing. You guys think that you don't owe me anything, that I'm just doing this for free, but you actually owe me a lot, guys. And a lot, and I mean this seriously. What you owe me is you owe me be results. That means that in the future, I want to see you making amazing games. I want to see you making amazing movies. I want to see you making amazing projects, 3D sculpts, everything. Like, I want to be a part of that. I want to enjoy what you guys do. Maybe you're enjoying what I'm producing right now here with all of the content and the courses, and that's great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But I'm also doing this because I want to see what you guys can come up with, and that way you guys are going to be inspiring me back. So that's going to be something that I'm going to be collecting in the next few years. Hopefully, you guys are going to be making some amazing, amazing things out there. Let's see. Sebastian says, hey, you should add a little party hat or party popper to the froggy since you're better. Yeah, let's do that. We'll add the hat later on, of course, but let's add a little hat for now. There we go. A little one. That way it's more comical. There we go. So now I'm going to be working on a little bit more of the secondary shapes that I'm expecting to see this right here. Let's see. Zero says, you're amazing, my friend. Quick question. Why you choose create content in English over Spanish? That's a great question. So when I first started doing tutorials, this was back in 2018. The first client that I had, or the first, I don't know, like producer or whatever, asked me to do it in English. I've taught classes in Spanish in Mexico, and I just started getting like more public from all over the world. So from a global perspective, it's a little bit more challenging, of course, to be doing it in what's the word in English, right? Because there's of course amazing artists out there that are also doing similar things. But I just feel very comfortable doing it now. So that's why I prefer to do it in English now. We've thought about like including some sort of like Spanish options, but it's just like very time consuming to record everything in multiple ways. However, if you want to eventually have, for instance, a mentorship with me, I have several mentees from Mexico and from Latin America. So if you want to do that, I can talk in Spanish, of course. Let's see. When I publish my game, I will certainly show you my gratitude to you and also give you credits. Thanks, Ace, for doing that. You're welcome, Stefan. Yeah, no, I do this because I truly feel like art is something that we can all share. Like, as humans, it's something so universal. Like, just look at how many people we have from all over the world right now. Like, I know this is not like the biggest like stream out there, right? Like, we're not Ibai or Rubius with like millions of viewers, but we're probably over 100 people right now here in the chat, and we're from all over the world. Like, art unites people. It's a very, very nice way to bring us together and just like create amazing things. Let's push this up a little bit. Do you think there's demand for guns in the current 3D market? There is, but as I've mentioned during portfolio reviews, Nadacoms, it's important that you also try to do a gun that's not a very common gun, right? Like a revolver or like an M1 Garand or an Uzi, right? Like all of this like typical weapons that we might see in modern shooters. They've been done to death. Like, everyone and their grandmother has done one of those guns at one point. So even if you're doing your own game, like if you want to start your own military game tomorrow, you don't need to model it. You just go online and buy the model because someone has done it and probably has done it with like a really good level. So usually I recommend going for a concept art for like a sci-fi weapon or like a steampunk weapon or like even like a, I don't know, like a medieval weapon. Like, there's so many like guns that you could do that are a lot more different than the traditional like modern weapons that we see all the time. Let's see. Indiram, great channel, Abe. I'm learning a lot. A question: how do you differentiate a stylized sculpt from a realistic sculpt? So usually a stylized sculpt is going to have sharper angles. It depends on the style, of course, but stylization means taking what's generally considered to be realistic and sort of like turning the volume up, right? So making things more exaggerated in certain things. Proportions, silhouette, details, like that's the way you stylize stuff. For instance, this frog right here, this is very realistic, I would say. Like, in terms of the render, yes, the colors might be a little bit stylized, but the proportions and everything that we're seeing, it looks quite realistic. So it really, like, stylization again is like pushing things to sort of like the next level. You know what? I actually need a frog head. I'm struggling with the proportions on this one. And this is something that I mentioned frequently, right? Like, we never know everything, so we need to look for references. It's like this frog right here. So what I see on this one right here is that the eyes are way more far forward than I thought. I'm gonna push them a little bit forward. The good thing is we're still in Dynamesh, so these movements can be relatively simple. See how much that changes the way we look at the character. Is his skin attached to the head, or is that grass? No, it's like some mustaches thingies, like some tendrils. So that's a lot better. And then what else do I see? There's like a cone-shaped thing going here. Go. So this sort of like goes towards the eyes. It's a little bit more empty on this area right here. Faye Jones says, "Hey, I'm learning a lot from you. Thank you. I have a degree in game design and I'm doing a postgraduate degree in game art. I've been modeling for almost 5 years now. So learning more every day. Shout out to Brazil." There you go. Our good friend said there's some really talented Brazilian sculptors as well. Like, I don't know what you guys eat over there, but there's a lot of talent. Okay. Go. Yeah, I'm liking this. It's looking good. Thank you, Ankush. Thank you. Akeno says, "It would be fun to see you do a full character sculpt in Blender and how you work around missing tools you use in ZBrush." Yeah, it's the same process. In theory, yes, as David is saying right there, it's pretty much the exact same process. The only thing that changes is that Blender doesn't have every single tool, and I've just been working with ZBrush for so long now. I've literally been working with ZBrush since 2011, so it's what, 14 years now. That like doing that change or trying to do everything in Blender, it would just be too time consuming for me. Like, I could do it, but it's just gonna be, I'm just gonna be way slower. I tried that. I'm working on a freelance gig right now. It's some game props, and I was like, hey, let me try doing one of these game props inside of Blender just to, you know, practice a little bit and make sure I don't forget all of the information from the software. And when I was doing it, I was like, oh, screw this. It's taking me like 3 times longer than if I just jumped into Maya and do it. Yes, there is an equivalent to Dynamesh in Blender. Thank you, my friend, for the gifts of Haternom762. Thank you. Okay, so that looks fine, I think. Definitely gonna have to clean the head up a little bit. Here's where train dynamic really comes into play. Just like polish that a little bit more right there. Yeah, I like the head so far. Let's go back to the concept and let's start polishing a couple of things more. So for instance, what do I see? Well, I see that the lip here, I'm pushing a little bit too far down. Should be a little bit more straight. First guard is going to be missing the tongue, so let's add the tongue real quick. And I'm going to add the tongue with a sphere. I got this question the other day from a student on the Discord. It's like, hey, for like tongues and gums and things like that, do you model them separately or are they part of the same like character? It depends, but usually tongues and teeth, again, usually they are separate meshes. Sorry about that. I don't know if you know that, but ZBrush was made for 2D and references with animation, but they improved ZBrush so much. Yeah. Originally, it was made for 2D. They still have it, by the way. you still can use some of the 2D tools instead of ZBrush. I mean, they're very like niche, I would say, but yeah, they can be used. Go. Now frogs tend to have like a weird thing. There we go, on the back of the eyes. It's like their ear, right? There's that thing right there, and I think that's gonna be a different mesh as well. Then I'm gonna make the little hole that I would expect to see. It's a little bit smaller, and this one seems to be a little bit lower, so right around there. This is where you need to always sort of like check proportions. So what I mean by checking proportions is look where the eye is and look what that thing is. That distance right there, that's the same distance that you need to have, so right over here. And that means that, again, this thing right here, the mouth, should be finishing or stopping right at that position. That means that I need to modify the direction of the mouth a little bit. Make sure that they fit as nicely as possible. Of course, there's always going to be small variations. Whenever you're taking a 2D concept and you make it 3D, there's always going to be some small little changes here and there. But you should always try to respect the proportions as much as possible. I'm curious, how long would a sculpt like this take you to finish? If it's a full character for like a game and it's gonna be everything, I would say about 2 weeks of work, so probably like 80 hours in total. If it's just for fun and you want to sort of like take it slow and you don't want to be like so perfectionist, you could probably do it in like 20 hours, right? So it really depends on how precise you want to be. I do want to make this like quite nice, so I'll definitely be working on this on my free time. But today I wanted to work on the blocking stages and just get to a position where this thing looks nice. And I want you guys to see how easy it is to start something, because I'm not sure if you guys suffer from this where you don't know how to start a project. And of course, picking a project is the first thing that we need to do. But once you've picked your project, you just need to start. Thank you, Kidney, with the super chat here on YouTube. Oh, you didn't include a message, man. You can include the message. I'm reading all the messages, of course, but thank you so much. Okay. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more of this thing right here. There we go. That's really helping. So I'm gonna keep the lip thin on the upper part, and I'm gonna add this like bag that usually inflates in frogs when they're like croaking. Right? So all of that thing right there. I start with collecting a bunch of reference and then just primitives in ZBrush. Yep, that works. Good way to approach a project. How do you afford for ZBrush to be your first software? Oh no, I didn't afford ZBrush. So when you are in the school, usually the school will provide a license for you. So for instance, when I was at Noman, like we had ZBrush at the PCs right over there. They do have this new thing, Maxon has it, where schools get a very nice discount. I think you only pay like 60 euros or $60 for a full year of all of their softwares, like Cinema 4D and ZBrush and all that stuff. So that one's quite affordable, I would say, but you do need to be enrolled on an educational institution, right? And then, of course, you need to like if you're working in a studio, this is very important, guys. Like if you're working on a studio and they expect you to work with ZBrush, they need to provide the license. Like that's how it works. Like it would be ridiculous for they to expect for you to, I don't know, like pirate the software or something. You get into a whole lot of problems if you do it. Can you get away with it? Sure, like a lot of people do, but it's a very risky thing. I do not recommend it for anyone, because everyone says, oh, nothing's gonna happen, and then when something happens, it's like, oh, I didn't know something was gonna happen. Of course you knew. Of course you knew something was gonna happen. Of course you knew that it was a risk that you were willing to take. So my advice, don't take the risk. Like as a small business, for instance, in my case, as a small studio, what I do is I account for the cost of ZBrush in my cost of operation, right? Like, there are certain tools that I don't have every month. For instance, Marvelous Designer. Like, if I'm not doing a project that requires Marvelous Designer, I won't pay for the month in Marvelous Designer. If I can buy a perpetual license for some softwares, I'll do that, right? But let's say, who asked this question? Let's say someone tells you, hey man, I want you to do this frog for me because it's gonna be my character for D&D, and I want you to sculpt it. And you're like, sure, I'll sculpt it for you, and I'll do the 3D print or whatever. It's gonna be $200, and from those $200, you know that you're gonna spend a month sculpting, and you're gonna use 50 of those $200 to pay for ZBrush, right? So in the cost of whatever it takes to for you to do something, you include the cost of the software. That's how business are run, pretty much. Let's see. It's 90 a year for a student license, says Chiro. Yeah, there you go. So it's quite nice. Like 90 a year. It's not freaking bad. It's almost what a game costs nowadays, and this is a work tool that could potentially help you land the job. So I think it's definitely worth it. I'm gonna add a little bit more fat here on the backside of the frog. I don't know. I feel like I don't see it, but I kind of imagine that the shoulders of this character are gonna be a little bit bigger. These frogs tend to be quite like top heavy. So I'm gonna do something like that. Everything would go down if there were learning licenses like Houdini and Nuhab. Make it possible. Yeah. I that I completely understand. But that's a business decision that every company needs to make. There are some companies that have some really nice plans, like what's the word, like pay to own like services, and I really like those. Rent to own, they call it, I think, where you pay for like X amount of months, and after that the license is yours. And then if you want later on to to upgrade to a more recent version after the support ends, you can also upgrade. So I feel like that's fair. But to be honest, like for ZBrush, for a lot of softwares, they're worth it, guys. Like the amount of money that you can charge for this kind of work is quite high in certain things. So it does pay for itself at the end. Thank you, James Bond. And now we have James Bond as a fan here on the channel. There we go. I'm playing a bit with proportions here just to make sure that we find something that works. Let's add the hat. I think the hat is an important point. So he's got a very pointy hat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna append a cube and make the cube very small. Something like that. A good tip that I give you guys in terms of cloth and all of these types of garments is to make them a little bit thicker than what you would normally do them, because when you do bakes and when you do all of these different things, if the elements are too thin, it becomes a little bit problematic to do a lot of things. Do a quick save, by the way. So for instance, this one made it a little bit thicker, and now I'm gonna start cutting the like a little very sort of like pointy bit right there. I would expect it to be that. Here's where we can use again the move infinite depth that we talked about, and just play with the general shape of the hat. Right, so something like that. Make it a little bit like that. Start curving it a little bit. Maybe that's a bit too big. A little bit more. No. Don't kid yourself with that, because it's not morally what's the word, justifiable to do it with any software. It's just wrong. At the end of the day, it's just wrong. Like, I do not support that. I understand why people do it. some people might argue it's like, oh, I'm justified to do it. Hey, if that's the narrative that you want to have for yourself, sure, go for it. But it's never like, because imagine if you were in that same situation, like if you were the CEO of a big company, and you knew people were doing that to your product or to your software, you wouldn't like it, right? So independently of how you feel about any company, that's just not right. Again, I understand why people do it, but it's not ideal. Let's add a sphere. So this sphere is gonna be the top of the hat. It's gonna be a very small hat, or very sort of like narrow hat. It needs to sort of like this shape has to sort of like follow the shape of the head, right? It's a tricky one because frogs don't really have a simple head shape to work with. There we go. But now that looks too small, right? Like the whole head looks a little bit too small. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. This is the stylization that we were talking about. Like we need to try to find what things to exaggerate and which things to like keep in line. And I'm gonna hit this so that it's not perfectly like round and smooth, so it looks like it's more like leather. There we go. Ilya says, "Hi Abe, where do you usually search for concepts?" I usually do it on ArtStation. Pinterest is another good one. Google Images every now and then. You might find some interesting things. But yeah, that's usually the place I do it. As you can see, this thing is sort of like pushing up a bit. So I'm gonna try to be very careful here to go on the border. Just sort of like push the border up. And the reason why I'm saying I want to be careful is because I don't want to like push some of the geometry from underneath, which is very common. Yes, we can use the backface masking, but I want to keep it simple for now. Can play a little bit with the shape of the hat. It's an interesting shape here with the character. So I don't want to have like this super flat surface. So I might just like give it a little bit more, you know, curvature in certain areas. I feel like that could help. I don't know. It's looking a little bit too wobbly. I don't like that. Yeah, no, I understand. And when you're a student, like things are different, and if you gotta do certain things, well, not much anyone can do. And the general sort of like consensus is like it's okay, but it's not okay. It's not okay. It's just that like that's what people do, but that doesn't make it okay. Are you going to hand paint this frog later? Not sure, Naval. I'm not sure if I want to hand paint this or if I want to do like realistic PBR material. I'm leaning more towards like PBR material because we were talking about this earlier. It would be very cool if I could get this into like Baldur's Gate, for instance, as a mod. You know, Ignacio the singing frog, and it's a character that follows you around or something. That would be interesting. And for that, we would need, of course, to do, again, like traditional PBR stuff. Go, so sharpening some lines. I need help with Marmoset renders. Can you help me out if possible? What is it, Senpai, that you're having issues with? Marmoset, you say? Marmoset's pretty straightforward. It's usually not that complicated. Go. 4 minutes. 4 minutes for the next winner, my friends. 4 minutes for the next winner here on the giveaway. If you haven't entered, it's on the Discord channel, and you can win one of our courses. in celebration of my birthday. My birthday. Have you ever made a character for a mod before? No, actually I haven't. No. For mods, no. I've made characters for games, but not for a specific mod. Go. Go to the tendrils there. I'm gonna use the snake hook brush for the tendrils. We will be using sculptress. No, they're too far apart. There we go. Like, can I create a character and import it in any game? That's how mod works? No, not every character can do that. Or not every game can do that. Some games will have mod tools available to you that you can use to incorporate assets or elements. Some of them only allow you to do like skins. Some of them allow you to do some more like complicated things. I think Baldur's Gate does allow to do like some heavy modding. But it really depends on the developer whether or not they make all of those tools available to you. And you need to follow specific like protocols for their assets. Like even though we have the standards or like PBR texturing approach, some studios might use a slightly different naming conventions, a slightly different setup for some of their textures. So there's there's things to consider. Like you can't just like grab your character and plug it into a into whatever game you want. So it does require a little bit of setup and processing. Go. So modding is a thing that games allows. I thought it was like hacking a game. Some people will mod by hacking the game. Some games will allow mods as part of their like ecosystem. Again, it really depends on the publisher. Like for instance, League of Legends, if I'm not mistaken, it started as a mod from Defense of the Ancients, which was a mod from Warcraft 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was the order of how those developments happened. So Warcraft 3 was released by Blizzard, and then some guys started creating this like a game mode called Defense of the Ancients, which is the beginning for Dota. And then eventually League of Legends sort of like split from there. Okay, so the winner is Remlin. Congratulations, my friend Remlin, for being the second winner on today's special stream, on today's special giveaway. So I will be contacting you, Remlin, for you to pick one of the courses that you would like to select. Okay, just for everyone that's just entered the stream, we're giving away some of our courses from my site. We got over 10 courses now, so you're free to pick whichever you want. Marmoset, ZBrush for iPad, Anatomy, Retopology, Substance Painter, Blender, ZBrush for characters, Marvelous Designer, 3D Code. We have a little bit of everything. So we're going to be starting the next giveaway in just a couple of minutes. Make sure to join the Discord channel if you haven't already. And yeah, good luck to everyone. Okay. Now, one thing that I'm noticing on the concept is that the lips are definitely sharper. So I'm going to use my trim dynamic. Really flatten the border of the lips. That's what we call edge control. And edge control is really, really, really important for form definition, because not every form is is round or soft, and not every form is sharp and straight, right? So we need to have a little bit of variation between the forms to really communicate that difference. No, haven't you seen that the AI craze is sort of like going down? Like, there's a lot of backlash in a lot of communities for when companies or artists or people are using like AI illustrations and things like that. Like, especially art AI, it's a fun tool. Like, I've used it, to create like a family picture in Ghibli style or anime style or whatever. It's fun. But once you actually start seeing it in games and in movies, it looks very bizarre. Did you guys see the cinematic that they did for League of Legends? I think it was for like China or something. And they used like a lot of AI. It looks like shit, man. Like, it looks so freaking bad. So inconsistent. There's no art direction. It's just like so bad. If you use AI as a starting point and then you tweak it and then you modify it and then you do other things, I think it has potential. However, one thing, and I'm not sure if it's happening in every country, but here in Mexico, this week they ruled that anything that is created by AI cannot be registered, right? So there's no copyright protection. So if I, for instance, start using Midjourney and I create a companion here for Ignacio, and I make I don't know, like a ferret or like a skunk or like a raccoon or whatever, and I use AI to make it, anyone can grab that concept, use them for their games or for their music or whatever, and I cannot sue them because it's not mine. I didn't create it. But I think there's a little bit of a, what's not a loophole, but it makes sense. If you take AI and then you do paint over, you change some design elements, you do it in 3D or something like that, at that point, it's no longer AI generated. It was AI inspired. And there's a case to be made that's going to be valid, right? For like copyright protection. Okay, let's work a little bit on the hands because this guy has some really, really nice chubby hands. So what I'm going to do here with the hands is I'm going to separate them as well. So I'm going to go split hidden. There we go. Dynamesh. And let's start making the proper volume. I know that having fan art in your portfolio has been discussed in the past, but what if you model a concept art for the art book of the game that wasn't used as a final character? Wouldn't that be... Yes, that's really good. Like that, flip kicks, that's a really good approach. And I've recommended that in the past. Like, go to an art book or go to some unreleased or your unused concept art and use that instead of doing just like another Joker or just like another whatever, right? As you can see, guys, I just removed the thumb right there. And the reason why I removed the thumb is because most of the fingers are very similar to each other. So if I just do a finger, I can just duplicate it and reuse it. And it's a lot faster than having to do all of them. I'm going to do the same thing right here. I'm going to work on this like chubby finger. Fingers are divided into metacarpals. And as you guys know, we have 3 metacarpals. So it's going to be like a division that's going to be going around the finger like this. And one thing, if you've seen my projects, one thing that I like to do, this is something that I learned from some veterans in the industry, is that if you give your elements a little bit of gesture, you're going to get a nicer result. So for instance, here, I'm going to just rotate the finger a little bit. And then do the same here for the tip. Right? Not every rigger likes this, to be honest. Like, some riggers prefer if your characters are with like completely straight fingers. But to be honest, from a sculpting side or from a sculpting perspective, I really like how this looks. It's way more interesting. Just fill in that stuff right there. Do frogs have nails? No, right? I don't think they have nails. Taravana Kumar says, thank you for sharing knowledge. You're the reason I'm learning ZBrush. I really like your way of teaching. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're finding the ZBrush lessons helpful. James Bond is asking a question. How do going? Because I character hope you use a sister. No. Eventually, not if I, because I really want to finish this character. So when I finish this character, I will just do a proper rigging. So I'll go into Maya, throw in a rig there, skin the whole thing, and just make it work. Right? That's one of the fun things about being a 3D artist is when we get to learn a lot of stuff, and we ask ourselves some really weird questions. But none, right? They don't have nails. I don't think they have keratin. Like anywhere. Best is to never include the reference for characters in portfolio. Not necessarily. It's a good, like, if you really got close to the reference, you should include it. Like, if you captured the essence of the character, you should definitely include it, because that's what you're going to be doing on your job. Like, they're going to give you a concept piece, and they want you to match it as close as possible as you can. So yeah, you do need to share or to show that you know how to do that, man. I've seen people who sculpt in post, and to me that's kind of hard because of the... Yeah, it's a good exercise. Some of the patrons that I follow in terms of like miniature 3D printing, what they will do is they'll start their characters in B post just to block in the general anatomy and stuff, and then once they're in a good position, then they'll switch to a pose. They'll pose a character similar to what we do with Duncan, with the superhero that we have right there. And then they'll adjust anything that needs to be adjusted. But yeah, it's tricky. When you break symmetry, it's definitely tricky, because you're going to have to do things more times. How can I balance 3D learning and school? Sebi Seal. How old are you, my friend? Like, do you mean like 3D school, or are you like in high school or in elementary school? Like, you might be very young. We've had some like really young artists here on the channel as well. But as that's more refinement, I would say that there is nails on it, at least on the reference. They don't look like nails. I'm not sure. It's like color. I mean, if they're nails, they're not changing the silhouette, so I might not add them. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to duplicate this thing. I'm going to break symmetry. Delete the hidden symmetry. And then grab just the finger. Delete this well. Dynamesh. Now I'm going to use this finger to build up my other finger. So, right around there. You guys know? I just had a craving right now. I was thinking about lunch. It's like, what am I going to get for lunch? It's like, you know what? It's my birthday weekend, so I'm gonna go get some Chinese food. Some nice orange chicken, fried rice, broccoli beef. Yeah, that sounds like a good lunch. Go. So that's finger number 2. And usually finger number 2 is going to bend a little bit more. So we're gonna move this one and give it a little bit more gesture right there. That way the hand's gonna look more alive. And now that we have finger number 2, we're just gonna duplicate this thing, and this is gonna be our thumb. The only difference is that the phalange, this is very important, and oh my god, how like people forget this all the time. All the time. Basic anatomy, guys. Basic anatomy for hands. So when you have a hand, we have bones that are called the phalanges, right? Those are the fingers. And then we have these bones that are called metacarpals. Do you guys know why they're called metacarpals? They're called metacarpals because in the Greek etymology, meta means beyond, right? Like after, beyond. So meta is beyond the carpals, and the carpals, as you can see, it's all of these bones that we have here on the on the wrist, like our carpal tunnel and all that stuff. So if you take a look at the thumb only has 2 phalanges. We call this the proximal phalange and the distal phalange, right? Proximal, middle, distal. So proximal means closer to us, distal means further away. And as you can see, this bone right here, the one that we see on this area right here, right? We can actually move it quite a bit. It's this section right here of the thumb. That is a metacarpal. A lot of people think that's also a phalanx, and no, it's not. This thing right here is a metacarpal. But what we can do, especially here on our blocking, is use the metacarpal, right, as if that was the phalange. So now we just move it, create a little section right there, and that's pretty much it. Ivan Kolik, thank you, my friend. Thank you. Appreciate your wishes. Have I eaten mandi? No, I don't think I have. When I was in Los Angeles, we used to go to this place that sell Thai food, and I loved the red curry, like from a Thai place. There's only one place here in my city that prepares it close to how it was back then. It was really good. I really liked it. It was one of my favorite dishes. Delete that hand again. Go. And we're going to merge this down. So merge down. Okay. And we're gonna dynamesh. There you go. See that? Now we have this blocking of the hand. Very fast. Very efficient. Nice gesture, right? Like the hand looks quite alive. It doesn't look like just like straight like sausage fingers going forward. And yeah, this is what we need. Just clean this up a little bit. Now, I don't do this all the time, but I've been doing it lately, and I find it helps quite a bit. I do think it's a little bit thin, so I'm going to just scale it a little bit right there. Maybe give this a little bit of a chunkier vibe here on the side. Thank you, Rage Max. Thank you, Nisha. Thank you, guys. Make sure to jump to the Discord and participate for the giveaway. I'm giving away some courses here for the lucky winners. We're gonna have 2 winners. We're probably gonna have 2 more. There we go. Oh yeah, so I was mentioning I don't do this quite often, but I've been doing it a little bit more lately, which is to color the characters. So I'm gonna go for this like green color, for instance. I'm just gonna say polypaint and fill color on the hands. Fill color on the character. And then, for instance, the legs, we need to separate them. So let's do a quick separation here. So we're gonna do subtool, split hidden. The legs, we're gonna go for this like tan brownish color. Again, we go, where is it? Oh man, I always lose it. Polypaint, there we go. Fill color. And then this one right here, it's more like a red color. So I'm gonna go a little bit redder, maybe darker. And fill color. The head, of course, is gonna be more like a brown color. There we go. And fill color. Tongue is gonna be pink. Fill color. And then this thing is also like green. So maybe I'm just gonna go for like a little bit of a darker green. Fill color. This top part of the hat. Fill color as well. And there we go. So again, I don't do this all the time, but it's a good way to get a general idea of how the character is looking and whether or not we need to modify anything. And if you want to remove that at any point, just press shift and click on this little paintbrush, and it's gonna go back to basic color. So that's a really good way to really push that. Let me go to the legs. The legs are I think a fun place to work on because they're relatively simple, right? We don't have too much elements or information here. Relatively simple, and we can start polishing a little bit more of the muscle groups and everything. Cinar says, hello Ave, happy birthday. I'm working on my graduation project, planning a co-op game demo inspired by Split Second, but with a Valorant-like art style. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinion. I mean, that sounds cool, man. That sounds cool, but at the same time, I'm not sure how ambitious it is. A very common mistake is people go a little bit too ambitious on their projects, and then you're pretty much digging your own grave. So I'm not sure if you're gonna do the full game or just like a proof of concept. Just be careful there. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying if you're gonna do it, make sure you have a good amount of like time, like dedicated to it. And you know what, guys? Something's happening with the legs. They look way too far apart. Like the space that we have right there is way too much. So I'm gonna. There we go. That feels a lot more natural. Smooth things out. Okay, yeah, I mean, if it's a demo, that's fine. But again, just think about how many characters are you gonna have. You're gonna have like 2 characters only, which in that case that will be like quite fine, I would say. Or do you want to have like 10 characters, because that would be like way too complicated? So yeah, exactly, as Kepkas is saying here on Twitch, set a reasonable expectation or reasonable scope. Can you export polypaint out of ZBrush? Yes, the polypaint information is attached to the vertices. Remember that polypaint paints per polygon, so every polygon gets a specific color. The more polygons you have, the more colors you're gonna have, and you can definitely export them to other softwares like Maya, ZBrush, Blender. We do that on the Oni course, and I think I have a. You can look Basara, you can look at in the channel. I have a video. I think I did a Wolverine character last year, like close to when Wolverine and Deadpool was airing, and I did the polypaint here inside of ZBrush, and then brought it into Marmoset and into Blender as well, I think. But yeah, that's it. It's the vertex color. You paint that into a vertex color pretty much. Where would you recommend starting looking for freelance jobs? Of course, I know that it's best to take small stuff at first until you build a client list and finally find game studios. But what would you say are good platforms, like platforms and sites to look for jobs? Oh, that's a great question, Flipkicks. So honestly, I mean, I've seen the work with indies, the site, the webpage. That one is a nice like place to start. Like there seem to be some like good offers. ArtStation is not a bad place. Like I've applied to some of them over there, and I've gotten some clients from there as well, from ArtStation job positions. I haven't used LinkedIn that much, so I wouldn't be able to give you my opinion about that one, but I've heard that that's another like place to go for that. So yeah, I mean, those are the usuals. I've heard bad things about Fiverr and Upwork and things like that. Again, I've never tried them myself, so I wouldn't be able to give you an informed decision or an informed opinion. Those are the usual that I've seen. However, I'm gonna give you the secret to this. Just call. Like if you have any of your friends or people who are close to any industry sort of like thing, just message them, call them. It's like, hey man, my name is Flipkicks. I'm working as a 3D artist. I was wondering if you have anyone I could talk to for some guidance, anyone like in the industry close to you. And sometimes you'll find, like if you have a friend of yours that's working as a programmer, right? Like I know he's not an artist, but if he's a programmer and he's already working in the studio, he definitely knows people from the art departments, right? And he might be able to like literally hook you up and give you a contact there that you can talk to. I'm not saying that that's going to guarantee that you get a job, but it's a lot easier. Like I have a friend right now that he's an engineer and he's looking for work. And he's telling me, oh yeah, what I've been doing is instead of applying to all of those LinkedIn elements, I'm just like talking to all of my past connections and being like, hey, I'm looking for a job. Do you guys have anything? And people are usually gonna hire someone they know before jumping into like a pool of candidates to find like another person, right? I'm not sure if that makes sense or not. Let's dynamesh this thing here. And let's clean this, because all of this is a volume that I don't want. There we go. Yeah, I know no one's named Flipkicks. But that's the name of our good friend here. At least his username, right? Okay, let's make this a little bit more straight. You can see how things are like breaking in this area. So we need to grab this little trouser thingy. Push it up. Even with overlap, a lot of people are scared of overlaps, but in this stage, they're perfectly fine. And now that I have this, now I can start sculpting a little bit of like wrinkles and things like that. So for instance, I imagine this is going to be... I'm not sure if it's like a leather, like a... Not leather. I don't know. Some sort of like cotton or something. We can start sculpting some of the folds and wrinkles that we might expect, right? And these are going to be compression folds. These are going to be like really, really stretched out. I would probably, to be honest, like if I want to have like some really, really clean borders and really clean separation here, I'm thinking about just like splitting this into another subtool as well. So I'm going to go with my select lasso again. Just grab the full leg. Yep, that works. And we're going to say split hidden again. And Dynamesh. That way I can work on the edges and the borders of this things a lot better. So Dynamesh. Clean the borders again. I wish you more children in life, and I want you more courses to make a lot of us to buy. I'm not sure about the children, to be honest, but thank you. Thank you. And as for the courses, yes, of course. We're going to have more stuff coming. Definitely need to bring the hands down here. Push them in, push them out. Just clean them up. Clean this butt. We need more little Leals. That would be interesting. Okay. Go. Can't look like diapers right now. So we need to really push some of the forms here. Clean it up a little bit more. The main thing to make sure that cloth doesn't look like diapers, to make sure that they are not generating weird overlaps in areas where it shouldn't, and to have very clean curves, very clean lines. Like it's fine if they, again, like generate a little bit of volume, right? Again, we don't want to make them look like diapers. Now on the front, we are going to be doing a couple of wrinkles here. Thank you for the follow, James Bond. Thank you. The frogs have nails, and working on the frog's butt because it looks like diapers. Yep, that's the kind of stuff that we do as 3D artists, right? There we go. So we're gonna have some more aggressive wrinkles here on the edge. Later on, we can break symmetry a bit so they don't look too obvious. And let's push this in a bit more. And we can add some wrinkles here. For instance, we can break symmetry here and just make a little bit of a wrinkle going in between the butt cheeks. Just to add something there. Now we go into the legs and let's clean up some of the muscles here. When you pose him, you should make him sitting so he can sit with his legs hanging over the edge on the barrel next to Duncan behind you. That would be pretty cool, right? Yeah, I definitely... Like, we're gonna 3D print this guy eventually, too. We just need to find a cool pose and have him over there. Let's Let's really add some volume here on the calf muscles to we can stylize things a little bit more. The concept, it's got some really strong legs, and I mean frogs tend to have like really strong legs. So I really want to like indicate or push that that effect. Of course, we're humanizing the legs a little bit. Oh, he's wearing some boots. I didn't see that. He's gonna have like a little border here. And all of this is initial stage. This is one of the things that I tell you guys. Like it's sometimes complicated to be working on these live streams and try to keep things as interesting as possible. When in reality, a character like this could take weeks. Right? 4 minutes to the next winner, my friends. Add the change in silhouette that we have right here. That thing, that bump that I'm seeing right there. When I add it. So like the, again, part of the knuckles, right? But on the feet. There we go. Thank you, Casey. No, don't worry. Sunday is a rest day, of course. Well, actually, we've had like 2 consecutive Sundays with live streams this time around. It's not a bad day to stream, to be honest. I'm not at the studio always, but it's been fun. Jotan, what's up, my friend? How do we avoid your stylized characters from pushing into realism because of how strong an enemy background? I tend to bang when sculpting. Just remember to push the again the angles. It's all about the angles and the silhouettes, right? So for instance here, the leg's looking a little bit too realistic. So I'm just gonna start using my trim dynamic to sharpen some of the angles and exaggerating some of the muscles. And that's gonna start making it look a little bit more stylized. But it's practice, as with everything in life. It's practice and figuring out where and when to add this kind of elements. I don't know, now I feel like the legs are way too small. What do you guys think? I think the legs are way too small. Make them a little bit bigger. That looks better, right? I need your guys' opinion on that. I felt like the legs were looking way too small for the body. That looks a little bit more proportional. Right? Sonu says, Tsuki Pain says, way better. Yeah, they were way too small. But that's the fun thing. Like, the fun thing about this process is that since we're still on the early stages of the design, we can make a lot of these changes quickly. Right? We're not destroying any. We don't have UVs. We don't have textures. So at any point we can do that. Now, of course, that means that we're gonna have to adjust the diapers. Little thing right here. Push them out a little bit more. And probably push the bullets in. Also, I'm in the Discord, but I don't know how to join the birthday event. Oh, it's very simple, man. Yeah, just go here to the Discord channel, and here on the event channel, on the notice board, you go to events, and it's that thing right there. You still have 20 seconds to do it, my friend. Push this in. A little bit more volume there. There we go. I'm using a pen display. I'm using a pen display, my friend. I always have an issue pronouncing that name because I know it's a very common name, the Nguyen. Gwen. It's a different pronunciation, right? Like it's not read as it's spelled. I always have an issue with that one. Yeah, we have a winner, and the winner is Faye Jones. Faye Jones, congratulations, my friend. I'm not sure if you're here on the YouTube chat or in Twitch chat, but congratulations. There you go. Ah, you sniped that then, my friend. You sniped that at the very end. Were you asking about it? No. Yeah. You literally sniped it, man. Congratulations. That's good. That's good luck, my friend. That's some luck right there. I will be messaging you after the stream to ask you which course you would like to have, okay? And you can tell me, and I'll enroll it. I'll enroll you to it so that you can enjoy it. There you go. Okay. So we're getting there. Oh, we definitely have a little bit more of an interesting hat over here. We're gonna have to include that later. Let's work a little bit on this ones right here, on the sleeves. So for the sleeves, as I mentioned, we're gonna have like some leather bands right over here. So I'm just gonna sketch them real quick. Right there. I'm gonna use them in a standard with Alt to sort of like sharpen the effect right there a little bit more. There we go, guys. Fourth giveaway. We're gonna have 2 more giveaways, okay? 2 more, and then we're gonna call the stream. So make sure to jump for your second to last opportunity. You make a full video of your working station setup tour. It's not that big, man. I've been asked that before. I have a game room behind my studio. So this room is very small. It's like a 2x2 or 3x3 room. It's very, very small. And I made it that way so that I could have like control over the noise. So there's really nothing like impressive about it, to be honest. I'm very proud of the wall. I built that myself. But behind me there's another big room, and that's my game room. So that's where we normally play and do all of this like D&D games and stuff. But it's a mess right now because of all of the renovations. So give me a couple of weeks. I'll fix it up. I need to finish some decorations over there as well. And I might do a little tour of it over that area as well, okay? How do you stay motivated to keep making new stuff every day and get better? Well, do we have other choice? Like, well, what are you gonna do? Spend the rest of your life just regretting not doing it? No, right? Like, I'm not sure what's coming up tomorrow, right? I'm not even sure if I'm gonna be alive tomorrow. I know that sounds very fatalistic, and like the odds are that I will probably be alive tomorrow. But if I'm not, then I can at least say that my last day I spent doing art, doing what I love, right? So yeah, as Max Swag is saying, find your purpose. Purpose is fine. And understand that there will be days, a lot of them, where you're going to be tired. There will be days where you're going to be sad. There are going to be days where you're going to be stressed or anxious. You know what you need to do on those days? You need to work. You need to do what you love. You need to improve and find purpose and find the goal that you want to pursue and just go for it. I shared this with another student. This is not mine. Like, I didn't come up with this, but it's a philosophy called the non-zero day. I'm not sure if you guys have heard it before. But this philosophy says that one of the things that you should try to do is make sure that every day is a non-zero day. What does a non-zero day is? A non-zero or a zero day would be a day where you do absolutely nothing, like absolutely nothing, to get closer to your goal, right? So if you're working on art and you really are not feeling like doing anything, you don't want to open Maya, you don't want to open ZBrush, well, at least open YouTube, man, and look for a tutorial about something. How to do a specific, I don't know, hard surface technique, or how to do a specific render, or whatever. Just open ArtStation and analyze a couple of like artworks and try to find something that you could incorporate into your next project, right? Like, just doing those small things, that automatically is a non-zero day because you did something that is getting you closer to your goal. Now, ideally, you want to do more than that, right? Like, there's people out there, and I've mentioned this before. You might not feel like sculpting today, but there's someone out there that decided that today's the day that he's going to be sculpting 8 hours. Well, that guy just has 8 hours on top of you. so he is definitely going to have more opportunities and he's going to be more prepared for when there's like a job opening or something. So you got to decide, hey, how much do I want to grind? Because I know there's someone out there that's really, really grinding every single day. So Make it a non-zero day. Make sure that every single day you do something that's gonna push you again closer to what you want. Now let's count this. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna say 10. 10 seems like a good number. So I'm gonna say that we're gonna start right around here. And again, this is just a sketch. So we're gonna do 1. These are called darts. So it's a type of dart. 2 that we can do in our characters. We're gonna polish this later, of course. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right? And even from afar, that already is looking like quite interesting. It's having those darts. And then we're gonna have another like leather thing right here. Make it a little bit bigger. It's nice to hear this kind of advice from people who work so hard to make their dreams come true. Yeah. And there's this other thing that I want to share with you, Rism. And it's very difficult for me to share this. Not because of what it is, but because it definitely is one of those things that can break some people. Like, some people are going to hear this. Like, I don't know how many viewers we have right now, but like maybe, I don't know, 10% of the people who are going to hear this, it's going to break their dream. And I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But you need to hear this. And this is a quote. Oh, what was the movie? There was a movie that had this quote. And the quote says, "You can do everything right and still fail. That's not bad luck or whatever. That's just life." Right? So I wake up every day and I think about, oh, what am I going to do for my project, right? For the YouTube channel. What am I going to prepare? What short am I going to do? What content am I going to record this week? What course am I going to be preparing, right? Like, that's my plan. But I know that even though that's my plan, there is a chance that it's just not going to work. It's going to fail. And that's fine. Like, you need to be in peace with that. You need to be in peace with understanding, like, hey, I'm doing this not because I want to win. Of course I want to win. Who doesn't want to win, right? Like, who doesn't want to be successful and have money and everything, right? Who doesn't? But you need to, like, be very in peace with the fact that we can do everything exactly as we're told and follow every single rule and follow every single advice and recommendation and still fail. But even if that happens, you need to be, again, in peace with yourself and be like, okay, I failed. So what? I still did it. I enjoyed the process. I follow my dreams. I tried as hard as I could. Hey, I'm happy, right? I'm sad because I lost, or I'm sad because it didn't work out. Yes, but I'm happy because I tried and I learned and I got to meet a lot of people. Like you need to be at peace with that sentiment or with that philosophy, understanding that you can try every single thing that's in your control and still fail and still do it, right? Like, you gotta be a little bit crazy to follow that thought process. Be like, I'm gonna try something, I'm gonna do it the best I can with that something, with the knowledge that even if I do it, I might not succeed, but I'm gonna do it anyway. That's the crazy mind of an artist, I think. And we all gotta be a little bit crazy to be following that dream, right? It's interesting, Abe, because, well, that might sound disheartening to some when you also think, yeah, but if I don't do anything or you do things wrong, that's pretty much a guaranteed. Yeah, exactly. If you do things right, at least you learn properly and you can say you tried your best. That counts at the end of the day. Exactly. No, there is, Clark Smith, there is, I'm going to admit it, there is a little bit of, like, craziness that goes with this, like, job that we do. And I would say every job. Like if you think about like I think about doctors quite a bit because they are actually doing something that's really, really important to society, right? Like we're just doing Ignacio the singing frog right here. There's someone out there saving lives. So I think about them all the time. Like you gotta be crazy to be a doctor. A little bit crazy, right? To spend all that time with like patients, helping them out and making sure that you can provide the best like healthcare that you can. And sometimes patients are very ungrateful, right? Like they treat you like shit if you're a doctor, and they expect to have like everything resolved for them, even when they made like some very poor life choices. So you gotta be a little bit crazy to do that. You gotta be a little bit crazy to do pretty much every career out there. That's why you gotta be very grateful, and you gotta understand. Yeah, I want to be crazy in this particular in this particular thing. Oh, my server is acting weird. Okay, so as you can see, when it gets close to the what's the word? To the hand, it sort of like goes into like a different plane there. So I'm marking that plane. It's like this stitching thingy or whatever. So I'm struggling to find that form. I can definitely puff this things a little bit more though. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna mask that area. There we go. Buff it out a little bit more to really exaggerate again. Someone was asking about silhouette and realism. That's what we are doing. Thank you, Jack Moore. Thank you. Yeah, let's do a... I'm doing quick saves right now. Actually, let's do a normal save. Yep. And the life is very funny that way. Like, how many people do we know that are like horrible human beings and they're like super successful, right? And how many people do we know who are amazing human beings and are suffering a lot every day? So unfortunately, life is not fair. And the moment you realize that, you sort of like evolve and become more mature in that sense, because you understand that the only thing you can do is do everything you can. That's it. That's the only element. Thank you for the sub, Faye Jones. Thank you for the follow as well. I've been a 3D motion designer using Houdini. I got really interested in creating game characters watching your tutorials. Isn't it too late to start doing it considering AI? No, that's not too late, man. It's not too late. People like one of the big things about AI, or one of the things where actually I'm gonna restart ZBrush, guys, because it's behaving weirdly. So one of the things about AI that not a lot of people are understanding is they think that, for instance, a studio head is going to be like, oh, normally I have 10 ZBrush artists. Now I'm only going to have 2 ZBrush artists, and I'm going to do everything else with AI. Yes, but even if you do it with AI, you're still going to need revisions and like modifications and changes and things like that, and 2 artists are not going to be enough. So eventually what might happen in our industry, and I really don't want that to happen, but it might be a reality, is that there's going to be a lot of shit that's going to be like generated with AI, and then our job as artists is going to be to take that stuff and fix it and clean it and make it look good and make it production ready. So yes, it removes a little bit of the creativity to it, but at the same time, it's still like we're still gonna be sculpting, and I can guarantee that there's gonna be like way more changes than when people are like thinking about. So we're still gonna have to do it. So now I'm not scared of AI. Because of that, I'm not scared of AI. I use it quite a bit. Like I've been using it a lot in my pipelines in terms of like asking for tools or for questions inside of ChatGPT. Like I'd use it to filter out like information and help me figure out things like faster. For instance, I was trying to do a script inside of Maya to quickly select all of the faces that had the exact same material and replace it with another material for some heavy meshes, and I just did scripting for that. So something that would have taken me like a couple of hours to figure out, I was able to do in like 15 minutes because of AI. So again, there are things that AI can definitely do, and it's going to be helpful for us as artists. And then there's others where I really don't want AI to be like messing with. And one of our roles, I think, or one of our responsibilities as artists, is to really communicate to our clients, to our producers, to our directors, why using AI the way they think we should be using it is not the best idea, and offer them another solution to that, right? Like, hey, that thing that you want to do with AI, that's not the best use of AI. Let's do this instead. That should be like our main like responsibility. Instead of fighting against it, let's find a way to utilize it in a way that everyone benefits from it, right? It's tricky. I'm not saying it's an easy situation, but that's why I'm not scared of AI. Let's see. In terms of learning skills, AI rules. You can even ask it for a learning or study plan, and it comes out really well structured. Yeah, it's really good. No, I've even I've done this where I take a screenshot of my like a character or like some textures or whatever, and I send it to the engine, and it was like, hey, I want you to evaluate the texture, the proportions, like things, and it does find like interesting patterns. I'm not saying it has like the absolute truth, but it can like figure out like, oh, based on all of this database that I see, your anatomy here is wrong, right? Like, or your values here are wrong. So fix this, fix that, adjust this, adjust that. It can help you as a little bit of a coach. You, of course, need the knowledge to be able to parse the information and understand whether or not something that the AI is saying it's true, but or it's helpful. But yeah. Twitch Queso says, you make really quick blockouts and details. How many years? I've been doing 3D for 14 years now, my friend. So yeah, it's been it's been some time now. Okay, so I'm going to split a couple of things. So I'm gonna split this thing right here. Split hidden. Here we go. Dynamesh. A little bit bigger. That's gonna be the leather like band that this guy has. But the interesting thing is, after this leather band, and you can see it on both sides, he's got a cuff, right? I think that's the name of that like particular thing, where it's going towards the hand. So I'm going to duplicate this thing, make it a little bit smaller, right around there, and then use my move brush to move it out. And as you can see, these little details, this like layering of things, can really start making the character like pop a lot more, right? It's the complexity. That's a principle that I always teach on my courses. It's complexity out of simplicity. If you have a lot of simple shapes and you combine them, you use them together, you're gonna be able to create something that looks a lot more complex. Avis actually an AI, believe it or not. His birthday stream is to celebrate when his 1.0 build is released. Abort the mission. They figured it out. Abort. Go. Yeah, no, I agree, Julie Thrunov. I understand that it's scary to think what AI is going to be able to do in 10 years. But I also think, and I've seen this in social media as well, it's a lot more, like, people are gravitating more towards things that are made by actual people. Like, when they see something is made out of with AI, they sort of, like, glance over and it's like, oh, it's AI, I don't care. Right? I'm not sure if you guys have seen this. Like when I see a very cool concept art, it's like, oh, that looks very cool. And then I realize it's AI, so like, oh, no, now it's not cool anymore. Right? That makes sense? And I feel like that happens with a lot. It's gonna happen with a lot of things. Like you feel like it's not as cool. So we as humans, we have this very funny thing where we give value to random things. like really random things. But that's the magic of humans. Like for us, AI might be valuable, but the moment it stops being valuable, believe me, companies are going to stop using it because they're going to realize, oh, no one cares if it's AI. Like they don't like AI. If we really don't know this, like if we get to a point where we really can't tell if something's AI or not, and we value it as what it is, well, it's going to be a different conversation at that point. But that's an interesting thing about us as humans, the fact that we value AI, or we can assign value to certain things. It's like 3D print, right? Like imagine I do a sculpt, like a classical sculpt, right? Like this, I don't know, like a beautiful woman or like a very strong guy. And I just 3D print it, and then I paint it like if it's bronze, and I try to sell it to you. Would you pay thousands of dollars for a 3D print that just looks like bronze? Or would you rather spend your money on a statue that's actually bronze and that was done in this sort of like traditional sculpture approach? Probably the second one, right? Like I don't deny there's going to be people that are going to buy the 3D printed bronze fake statue. But most people will be like, no, I want like true artwork. Like there is a specific value that I assign to that, and they would like pursue it. So I think the same is going to happen with AI. Like there's going to be games or movies made entirely with AI. And people are not going to, like some people are not going to pick them. They're going to be like, no, I don't like that. I'm going to vote with my wallet, and I'm going to not consume that type of media because I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. So yeah. Yeah, we're weird that way. As humans, we're definitely weird that way. Like we do value effort. Objectively, we might be wrong, right? Objectively, it might be the exact same thing, and it doesn't matter. You think about the great scheme of things, but in our subjective experience, we do value effort. Demogran says, hello, happy birthday. Thank you for your working inspiration you give to people. You are welcome, my friend. Thank you very much. Also, thank you for the follows to In Your Dreams, Red Cape Eagle, Get CT, Jack Moore 89, Xvarts, Faye Jones, Clark Smith, Pomji, Oceanity, Rentakahiro, Juanito. I think I missed all of those, but thank you guys. Thank you for the follow and for the support. Last year, Google photographer who won an AI contest with a real picture. First link from Forbes. Yeah. It's we live in very interesting times. Okay, what else am I missing? Like, oh, we're missing some accessories. We're missing a belt. Let's add that real quick. Easiest way to add belts, in my opinion, is with masking. I'm gonna go with mask lasso. We're gonna mask this section of the body right there. Make sure that the masking makes sense. For instance, here, I'm gonna clear the mask here on the bottom section. I'm gonna add a little bit more on the top section right there. There we go. Something like that. Belts are a little bit tricky because it's sometimes a little bit tricky to really express the tension that they generate. There we go. And then I'm gonna go to extract. I always extract with 0 thickness. This is what we're gonna get. Now I'm gonna do a couple of things. First, I'm gonna go to deformation. I'm gonna use polish by features to clean the borders a little bit. And then geometry, series measure, low poly count, and series mesh. Turn on polyframe. I'm gonna click on half and series mesh again, and again, and again, and again, and again, again. I'm gonna go to deformation again. Do a little bit of again, polish by groups or polish by features. Any of these ones work. And then I'm gonna try doing another series mesh. Like I wanna go really, really, really low. This is definitely making this a little bit smaller. Come on. Should be able to do. There we go. Let's relax the geometry a little bit. And let's do another deformation and a little bit of polish. Nice. And then once we have that, we can even go to something like a C modeler and use something like extrude, or not extrude, QMesh, polygroup all. Oh my god, what is happening here? The hell. Well, let's try and still panel loops, or just dynamic subdiv. I'm gonna use thickness. There seems to be an error there with the geometry. Very weird. Dynamesh. At least it gets... I mean, it's a little bit of a happy little accident with those borders. But yeah, that's one way to add one. Switch off to that to make it go even smaller, right? Yeah, we could have done that, but for now I'm just gonna keep it like that. I'm not sure if I've ever done a horn. Like, this is where I would try to recycle some models. Like, if I already made a horn with another character for another character before, I would just recycle it and do it, or reuse that one. I don't normally use fiber mesh, but I think this is a good like position where it could work. Oh my god, ZBrush is acting weird again. What the hell? Am I getting hacked or something? The hell? Not working. Something's very weird. I'm gonna save and just redo it. Yeah. Just reopen ZBrush. We have the winner in 4 minutes, guys. 4 minutes. Yeah. Someone mentioned this, and you're right. Like, it's going to be more and more difficult to win one of these giveaways, guys. I remember a couple of years ago, we had like 50 entries or 60 entries every time we were doing one of this. Now we're at 150. It's nice. Gracias, Isabela, gracias. Gracias por los buenos deseos. What are the games that you worked on? I would love to see models by you in-game. I've worked on indie stuff only, to be honest, my friend. I work closely with museums, and we do like virtual reality experiences and AR experiences. There were a couple of games that we were working on, or I worked on, that unfortunately never got published. This was one of them, Realms of Conquest. So you can see one of the models right there. It was supposed to be a sort of like TTRPG. No, not TTRPG. It was like a Warhammer War Machine sort of like thing. That was one. There was another one, Hypergun. I think this was on Steam. Hypergun game. This was like a roguelike thing that where you would be building guns and like moving across. I did a couple of enemies for this one. I worked on a cool Blizzard commercial a couple of years ago for Diablo Immortal. I was responsible for some texturing on this commercial right here. It was a very, very fun project to work on. I worked on another project for this company, but unfortunately that project didn't air. So I did the textures for the mage and for the barbarian, for the weapons and all that stuff. So all of the textures for that guy, those were mine. Textures for her. What else? I've done a little bit of everything, to be honest. I've done jewelry, I've done freelancing, but I'm a small like freelance artist. Let's see. Do you have any update on the monthly challenge that we talked about in the past? Not yet, but we are thinking about some new stuff that we want to introduce to the channel soon. We've mentioned them before, or like workshop or something. We're still finalizing the details, but we'll hopefully have some more news about that soon, okay? 40 seconds, guys. 40 seconds for the next winner. 40 seconds for the next winner. Look. 10 seconds? No, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. There we go. Almost there. You got some You can try sniping the the price as our good friend here did a couple of minutes ago. But yeah, a guy in my university has 30 plus years experience in BFX, and he wanted to move to the gaming industry, so he's like a second teacher to our class. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, 30 years of experience in BFX, that's a lifetime. Yeah, you guys think we have it like bad right now on the games industry? I've heard that the BFX industry for film, it's like hell right now. Like really, really, really bad. And the winner is Flipkicks! There you go, my friend! There you go, Flipkicks! I'm guessing this is your account, right? You won, my friend! Congratulations! That's nice. There you go. There you go. We're gonna have the last giveaway, guys. With this one, we're gonna close our stream for today. So make sure to join the Discord if you haven't already, because David is gonna be placing that stuff really or in just a couple of minutes. And yeah, that's gonna be it. So congratulations, my friend, Flipkicks. There you go. See, good things can happen to everyone. Outsourcing is killing both industries, but here's the thing, man, about outsourcing, and it's a really interesting thing. It might be killing the industries in some countries, but it's making those industries boom in other countries. That's why, as artists, you guys need to start, like, and I recommend this because this is what I do. You need to start thinking about this in a more sort of like global scale. Like think about how it is that you can offer your skills at a global scale, because I can guarantee that there's people who are looking for those skills but might not be close to you. And they do offer like remote options. Like I'm in Mexico, guys. I've literally been in Mexico since 2016. So it's going to be 10 years since I've been working as a 3D artist from Mexico. And I've worked on some really, really cool projects. Some of them, as I mentioned, have shipped and some haven't. But it is possible. It is possible. I'm not saying it's like super easy and everyone can do it. But I'm just saying that it is possible to work remotely and make a living out of this industry. There you go. There you go. Now you can get that one, my friends. Now you can get the hand-painted course. This is the newest course that we released. This was released in July, if I'm not mistaken, so a couple of months ago. And it's one of my favorite courses so far, to be honest. It's I enjoy the character like so much. The process is so fun. And for those who have seen the course, I've gotten some really nice reviews about them, about the way it's structured and about the way we go over all of the different elements. So I hope you guys like it. Okay, so what I was gonna do here before this thing crashed, and let's see if we can do it now. No, we can't do it. What is going on? Yeah, there's something really weird going on here, guys. Might have to reinstall Serious. I'm not sure if something broke with this character. But see, like the issue is, if I go to mask pen, and if I try to mask something, it's not working. And it's not working, of course, because it's not on CAD or CSUB, which should be. Okay, let's try something. Let's go Preferences, Configuration. Let's go... Brush, can we reset this brush? Brush. Reset current brush. What the hell? Has anyone encountered this issue before? I don't think I have. Is it the pen? I don't think it's the pen. No, it's not the pen. What is it? It's a perfect course. Highly recommend. Thank you, my friend. I tried that, but on a global scale, they don't want to pay a living wage for this country. Yeah, that's the tricky part. That's the tricky part. The wage, the living wage. It's yeah, it's tricky. Unfortunately, I do not have an answer for that. Try clearing the mask, even if you... No, there's no mask. So I'm trying to use my mask pen, like just a normal mask pen. Okay, let's try another. Gasset. Dynamesh. No, it's the brush. The brush is wrong. But why? Why is this wrong? Focal shift is fine. I've never encountered this issue before, to be honest. Oh, now I'm intrigued. No, I don't think it's a driver issue. Yeah, even here, like this is wrong. Like the fact that I'm using, for instance, the clay buildup and it's pushing in instead of out. Something broke. Try initializing ZBrush. Okay, so it's something with that sculpt, unfortunately. So Ignacio broke something. No, it's not. Like, see, like right now it's working. Oh, wait a second. It is the tablet. Interesting. So if I use the mouse, working. If I use the tablet, not working. Tablet issue. Did I change something here? Interesting. I haven't had this issue before. Let's try just resetting. So I'm gonna exit the Huion app and then just go back again. Yeah, that solved it. That seems to be the solution. Yeah, it seems like the driver just like freaked out or something. Huh. Weird. Like literally, I've never had that happen to me before. Never. Anyway, so Ignacio, sorry, I apologize. I thought you were breaking my ZBrush, but no, you were fine. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of a mask right here for Ignacio. And once we have this, I'm gonna go to fiber mesh. Fiber mesh. Again, I don't usually use fiber mesh, to be honest. But this is one of those cases where I guess it can work. So we're gonna bring the max fibers down. We don't need that much fibers. Definitely gonna increase the thickness. I'm gonna do a little bit more clumping. And I'm just gonna hit accept for now. The cool thing about Dynamesh is that these are polygons, pretty much. So we can use the move brush, for instance, to generate the sort of effect that we want. I can even smooth some of the polygons to sort of like cut the hair. Let's go. I'm gonna go to document and I'm gonna change the range back to 0 so we can actually see the element. You can just push it and so like cut a little bit towards the sides. I have not used. I've used the basic sort of like things inside of Blender, my friend. I don't like it, to be honest. I have a little tutorial where I do like a gladiator helmet. If I need to do hair, I'll use Maya with action because that's what I'm used to, or I'll use Fiber Shop to do my hair cards and just do traditional hair. Like for this one, for instance, like this here that I'm doing right now, if this was for a game, I would eventually do this with hair cards, right? Like it's very simple to do hair cards with something or for something like this. So I'll probably go for that. Go for the hat. I'm gonna use the spiral brush. This one's a really intense brush. Well, we can use it to sort of like get the result that we want there for the hat. Oh, I've never tried that one specifically then. But yeah, if you can do hair cards, that's great. Just thank you, my friend. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a plugin, right? I saw a plugin not too long ago that was similar to Fiber Shop, I think. And it looked nice. Haven't tried it, but it looked nice. Not only about skill, it's also about cost cutting for maximum. Yeah, that's the unfortunate situation of this world. That's a system issue, right? Like that's capitalism at its best. Like people are gonna try to maximize their profits, and like why would I pay someone $100 when I can find 2 persons or three people who can do the same thing for cheaper? Like if you had a business, you would do the same. That's the thing about like that's why I find it a little bit difficult to like have one specific side to the whole thing. Like if you had the money to do a project, you would do the same, because that's like how the system works. Like you would not shoot yourself in the foot for that, right? Unless like there are some individuals, and there are some, like I try to be that way as much as I can, where you could be like, hey, I know this is going to be more costly for me in this particular like position or point, but I will pay more because I want to support X or Y or Z or whatever, right? Like there are some, like I recently saw an interview that they did to the guy in the US who does the Arizona teas. And he had that principles, like our Arizona teas cost $1.99, and we're gonna keep that price as at that price as long as we can, because I believe in just like in that, right? Like in helping people or whatever. So he understood that that was not a good business decision, but he said I'm fine, like I'm okay money wise. So I don't care about that fact. Yeah, this is freaking out again. Really unfortunate. Is it working? Is this happening on other softwares? Let's see. Oh, here. Seems to be working fine in Krita. It's really weird. So I'm not really doing anything different. I think I'm pressing any button or something. Colleen does stuff, says, hey Abe, I have been struggling with hand painted textures a lot. I keep overcomplicating myself, and I always want to draw the details and highlights early on, which makes my overall textures super messy. Do you have any advice on how I can overcome this? Yes, I actually showed this a couple of weeks ago. Did you see the video about the how to render metal, where I do the biking helmet? Let me know if you saw that video. This one right here, where I show you how to paint this one. Yeah, take a look at it, because this is the construction that you're talking about. So as you can see, I always start with just a very basic. Well, first of all, you can always start with black and white, right? So if you start with a black and white like approach, this is very easy to sort of like blocking your values. So in this particular case, we started with this like ambient occlusion bake, and then I colorized it with this sort of like gold color, and then just basic principles. Look at that. Look at how sloppy that looks. It looks super blocky, right? Super like horrible. But it's just my general idea of where I want my highlights and where I want the light direction for my element, and then just a little bit more refinement. So a little bit more light right there. And then a little bit more refinement. Like this was the big change for me, from this layer to this layer right here. So what I did right here, can someone tell me what happened here? Like there's a couple of important elements that happened in this particular layer. Neil says, happy birthday, May. I got into modeling recently and your videos helped me a lot. You're the GOAT. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Definitely not the GOAT, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'm just trying to share as much as I can. So what happened here, or one of the main things that I did on this one right here, exactly, is I made the gradient, right, like the decay, the light decay, sharper, meaning that instead of softening it and having it go all the way to the sides like this looks more like a dull metal, like a very rusty or very old metal. I sort of like brought them back in. Like you always need to think when you're seeing this kind of stuff, and this is something that you can observe in real world, by the way. I'm going to show you another exercise where you can appreciate this. But when you're looking at values, you always need to look at where is my highest value, which is this one right here. Where is my second highest value, which is this one right here. And where is my darkest value, which is this one right here. So you can see right now, we have this distance between all of these values, like a very big distance between them and a very soft gradient. This gives us a matte or like a flat surface. If I change that, is what I did right here, and I bring my highest values closer, my mid values closer, and my dark values closer, now this starts looking a little bit more shiny. And I even pushed this a little bit more by adding an extra value right there. See how we add like the very bright highlight, and then just well, that was a little cut right there. That was a color correction right there. And I think I added, there we go, a little bit more contrast here at the very end. So it's a matter of building up layers. Don't try to bite more than you can chew, right? Like try to work in a more standardized way. This is something that they use a lot in the manufacturing industry, right? Like when they're building a car, they're not just going to start building it with whatever piece they feel like they want to build that day. They have a specific process that they follow, and that process allows them to get to the same result every time. That's one thing that a lot of artists struggle with. It's a very interesting concept, because we as artists, we tend to think that everything should be very flowy and very inspirational, and we should just like be pushing things in a more abstract kind of way, when in reality, if we want to be consistent artists, what we need to do is we need to have a process. Step A, step B, step C. And if we have that process, then it's a lot easier to make sure that every time that we do something, it will get to the result that we want. Okay? Let's see. Yes, I did a little bit of line art. That's usually the ambient occlusion, where you can like really sharpen some of the elements to make sure that they look as nice as possible. Darksmith says, I'm sorry if you've already answered this before, but I've noticed a lot of hand-painted assets were made with 3D code. Why is that? Personally, I just like the way the brushes feel inside of 3D code way more than I do in any other software. So for instance, here inside of 3D code, as long as my tablet doesn't fail, I can very easily... Oh no, it's failing here as well. Wow. No, wait, do I have another layer? No, my tablet is failing today. I'm gonna have to update the drivers or something. Yeah, this is really weird. It's working on Krita. Oh, now it's not working on Krita. Is it? No, it is working here. Oh, that's really weird. But yeah, it's just the brushes. Like the way the brushes feel inside of 3D code is the way. Yeah, it's definitely the drivers. I'm gonna have to update my Huion driver there. I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm scared that there will be you know what? You're right, Solid Mango. I updated my NVIDIA driver yesterday, and I think that might have broken my tablet. That sucks. I have to do that. Yeah, that's the issue with drivers. Like sometimes you do something and it... Or no, I did restart my PC, Fasara. I updated the... Like I always turn off my PC at night, so it's fresh. But yeah. But yeah, for the question, my friend, it's just the brush. Like the way the brush feels inside of 3D code feels super nice to do the hand painted stuff compared to other softwares. But I do use all of the other software. So for instance, here on the Undead Captain course, the hand painted course, we use Substance Painter for the bakes and for the initial gradient creation of the character, and then we use 3D code for the refinement. So like all of these gradients that you see right here, flats and gradients I call this stage. All of these things, this were done inside of Substance Painter, this basic creation, and then the refinement of the colors was done inside of 3D code. So that's why I really like this course, because we cover so many softwares and so many like little techniques to get to the final result, which Flipkicks is gonna get now because he won the giveaway, right? We are 13 minutes away, guys. So if you have questions, like this is the moment to ask those questions. We're gonna finish our stream with the last nice like giveaway. Yeah, let's see if we can update the Huion drivers. Pretty sure I have mine up to date, but sometimes you just need to it's the Canvas 19 or Canvas Pro 19, this one. 0718. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have this one. Let's give it a shot real quick. I found out we can get Maya with school and ID, and I downloaded Maya for fun. Yesterday I completed Maya modeling for beginners available in Skillshare. The way you teach is really helpful. Oh, thank you, my friend. That's an old course, though. I have a new course for Maya that has a little bit more information about the whole software. So we do a little bit of animation and a little bit of simulation and things like that. In case you want to get it, it's this one right here. It's called Maya Stylized Worlds, and we do a little like diorama, another pirate. I don't know what I have with pirates. I think I really like pirates. But yeah, it's like a little pirate den that we do, and I show you the full process to get there. Okay, let's try this right here. Let's see if this works. Do you have any tips with texturing with base color map only? That's the hand painted stuff, man, that we've talked about, Neil. So on the I have several videos. I also did a live stream or a couple of live streams where we did this fish right here. There's 2 live streams for this one where we do the sculpt of the fish first. We do UVs, we do bakes, everything. Again, we do the base colors inside of Substance Painter, and then we do the polish inside of 3D Coat. So check that YouTube channel, because we have, like, both of those are free, and I show a very similar process. But if you want to, like, get a course where we go over all of those steps in more sort of like an in-depth approach, then this one right here, the hand-painted pirate course. Installed, okay. Start now. Oh, this is a new one. Next. Okay. Oh yeah, this is definitely a new driver. I'm gonna go here. Let me just change this to mouse button, middle button. That's usually what I do. I'm doing it for both pens. Hope it is. Okay, take a look at ZBrush again, and let's see if that fixed it. Let's see, another 3D question, but I'm curious. If you like soccer, and if you do, what team do you like? I do like soccer a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. My dad really likes soccer. I was never a sports guy, to be honest. In Mexico, I like Tigres, which is the... what's the word? The team from my hometown. Tigres. In the US, I actually don't know. But in Europe, I really like Juventus from Italy. Yeah, it seems to be fixed. So imagine reading the changelog for that new driver. Fix ZBrush brushes acting up when sculpting frogs. That'll be fun, right? Jess is asking, what should I do next if I want to make my original character? Should I jump onto ZBrush or Substance Painter? I'm not familiar with 3D at all beyond Mario modeling. Definitely ZBrush first. Like, Substance is really good, and it's going to be really important for your journey, especially if you're going to be texturing the character later on. But first, you need to have the character, and the best way to do the character is with sculpting. Characters are usually easier to do via sculpting. Some people still do, like, traditional, like, poly modeling and box modeling for characters, but nowadays, most of the characters are sculpted. It's just easier that way. Interesting. I didn't know the mask pen actually worked with RGB. That's quite interesting. Do I watch UFC? No, I don't really watch sports. Alan says, do you think I should get Topogun? Do you think it will get overthrown by another software like 3D Code eventually? Oh, it's a good question, man. A really good question, to be honest. I'm a huge fan of Topogun. I love using it. We have an amazing relationship with the Topogun team. They're super cool. But I've mentioned this before. Topogun is a very specialized tool. So if you know that you're gonna be doing a lot of retopology, then it's definitely worth it, and you're gonna get your money back because it's gonna make you really, really fast in retopology. But if you don't do a lot of retopology and you do it every now and then you can usually do it with Maya or 3D Code or even Blender. I've mentioned Blender has some nice plugins. The one thing that Topogun is really good at is the ease that you can, like, build your topology with, and the handling of the polygons, right? It's similar to ZBrush, where you can handle like millions of polygons without an issue. In other softwares, as soon as you start getting into the million region, it becomes very difficult. Twitch Queso says, what HUD do you have, and do you give us it's private? No, it's not private. It's my own UI. Like, I created it myself. If you go to the Discord channel, this is for everyone, guys. If you guys go to the Discord channel and you go to the official links here on the top part, we have a drive, a Google folder drive, and there's a lot of stuff in there. So for instance, we have the Leal 3D interface. That's the ZBrush interface. You just need to unzip it. We have this like banner that I did a couple of years ago on how to pick a 3D project. There's a video about it as well. I'll explain how it works. There's a couple of objects, ZBrush brushes. We had some textures or some weekly challenges before, not anymore. Textures over here, materials. Right, we got some exercises. So yeah, like all of the stuff. Like if you ever see a video on YouTube or here on the Twitch stream or whatever, and I mentioned that I'm gonna like make something available, it's usually gonna be there on the Google Drive, okay, or on the Google Drive. Is RetopFlow almost the same as Topogon? Almost. It's very similar. It has some similar like cool tools as Topogon, but Topogon is way more responsive, like way more responsive. I don't know much about modeling, but I know a little bit. Now I need to practice it. So should I go with ZBrush or learn modeling in Maya and Blender? It depends. If you want to do characters, like starting with ZBrush is not a bad idea. But if you don't know anything about 3D modeling, I strongly recommend you pick something like either Blender or Maya related. Like for instance, if you want to get a nice one, this one right here, the 3D AAA weapon for games. This one's really cool project because it teaches you a little bit about modeling, it teaches you a little bit about sculpting, it teaches you about UVs, it teaches you about bakes, even teaches you about rendering. So we go through again a lot of like different like things. It's like what, 14 hours, and it's a really good project to learn the fundamentals. Even like the first chapter, the intro to Blender, it has like the very basic like interface things. The only thing about this one is that's on an older version of Blender. I think it was 3.6 or 3.8 or something like that. Most of the tools are still there. You might just find them in a slightly different place, but it's the same thing. Texture modeling, it sounds like such a rabbit hole. I just started messing with Blender. Yeah, that's the thing with 3D, man. Like you start with something and then you go into way more intense stuff. Is it possible to hand paint textures in Substance Painter? Yeah, you can do it. Again, I don't like I actually did it. Substance Painter. Did you see the collaboration that we did with the Substance guys with Adobe? They published it on their main channel. So it's this one. So most of the textures for this shark, well, all of the textures for this shark were done here. But I was going to say most of the textures were done procedurally. And then we did a couple of hand-painted passes. So we started with this, which is called the value construction, where we construct the main values for the shark. Then we did the color construction, which is again just the basic colors of the whole thing. Then we did some paint layers right there. And then we did some more paint layers right there. And then we did some details. So that was a little bit of like a bounce light that I added right there. A little bit more highlights there. And then a final sort of like blur pass just to make sure everything is sort of like merged together. But if you're going to be hand painted here inside of Substance Painter, what I recommend is to do the follow. You're going to go and grab a hard brush. So for instance, this basic hard right here. I personally like to change my alpha to a different alpha. So, for instance, here on the alpha, we can look for a square alpha, like this one right here. So you have a little bit of texture, right? Like it has a sort of like jaggedy edge right there. And then you're going to remove the size pen pressure so that when you draw, it's always the same size. And you're going to turn on the stroke pen pressure. So now you have control over the stroke. We can also reduce the spacing as much as you can so it looks a little bit softer, right? And this is the thing that I don't love about like a hand painted here inside of Substance, and that's the fact that I still feel like the stroke is really intense. Like, see that? Like I'm barely touching my screen and it's already getting like the full color right there. So you definitely need to push the stroke opacity way down so that it starts giving you also like a more blended look, and that way you can start building up your values little by little, right? So if I want to, I don't know, highlight some of these areas a little bit more, you need to press. What did I do? Did I delete the layer by accident? There we go. So what you need to do here is you need to press letter P to go into sample mode, sample the color, and then go down here. Maybe push the color a little bit lighter. And now we can start painting. See that? Now I start building the value on this area. It's not bad. Like if you get used to it, it works perfectly fine. I just find it a little bit more approachable on some of the other ones. Okay, but yeah, you can totally like hand paint here inside of Substance Painter. Substance 3D Painter. There we go. So I think we're at the end of the event. Do we have the winner? 1 minute. You guys ready for the final reveal? Let's see who gets it. Let's see who gets it. The shark bundle is also available, by the way, I think on the Google Drive folder, so you guys can download it as well and use it for practice. We have 53 seconds to go. Jess is asking, I find retopology and maintaining quads quite difficult for a model. How important are this, and should I give more time practicing? Yes. I mean, you don't always need quads. For instance, on this shark right here. Let me see if I can show you the wireframe. Where is it? I always forget where this is. I don't have it here. I think I have it on Marmoset. Give me 1 second. Oh god. File. Recent. This one? Oh no, it was the first one. Sorry. And the winner is our good friend Tiramisu. Tiramisu, congratulations, my friend. You are the winner of the final giveaway for today for our special birthday live stream. So I hope you're here either on the Twitch or on YouTube so that you can see that you are the winner. So enjoy. Congratulations. There you go. There you go. Another lucky. We had a lot of lucky guys today. Tiramisu Design says, oh my god, first time on stream. There you go. There you go. So, oh no, this was the door that we did. That was one of the other collaborations that we did with Substance, but it's this one I wanted to show you. So this shark right here, this is the texture. Let me just upload the proper texture. There we go. So as you can see on the shark, my friend, there's a lot of triangles. I have a triangle right there, a triangle right there, have a triangle right there, triangle right there, triangle right there. It really doesn't, like, triangles are not gonna kill your project, but you need to know where to place those triangles, because otherwise it's not gonna work. But you can see on this one has like proper deformation and everything, proper animation, and the triangles are not really causing any issue. You're not gonna see any like bad result or bad effect. So it's totally possible to be using what's the word, triangles inside of your element, but again, you need to know where and how to use them to make sure that they're not going to be causing you any issues later on in the production. Okay? So, yeah, that's it, my friends. That is it. Thank you very much for everyone for being in this special stream. It really means a lot to me. Thank you for all of your kind wishes. I'm going to be spending some more time with my family, of course, but tomorrow we're back to 3D. So make sure to subscribe if you're here on YouTube. If you're here on Twitch, make sure to follow, because we're going to be doing a lot more stuff in the next upcoming weeks. Now it's September. Tomorrow it's September. New month, new opportunity to make amazing things. We're going to have more surprises for you as we keep pushing into the end of the year. So thank you very much. Thank you to David. Thank you to Alan, of course, for being part of the team and for helping us grow this amazing community. And especially thanks to all of you guys for making this an amazing, amazing community. That's pretty much it. I will be reaching out to the winners in the next couple of hours in the Discord channel, so please be patient. I'm probably going to be getting some lunch first, and afterwards I'll contact you so that you can tell me which course you want. If you're a winner, you can also send me a DM right now, and that's going to speed up the process. Make sure to register to the site where the courses are. Just create a free account, and that's going to make it a lot easier for me to give you the result or the prize for this. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it, my friends. Thank you very much, and don't forget, always learning, always improving. I'll see you back on the next one. Bye-bye.